Let's go! Who's up next?
Seriously.
They might be dead soon, man. Come on. How many more of these do we have left?
That's what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
How many more do we have left? Might be the last time we can do it, for all we know.
Welcome, Internet, to the state of the Xbox Empire. Delvin is not with us tonight because
We lost him.
after
Godspeed.
the leaked Drake stuff, he had to rethink his life.
Oh, Jesus.
It put him in such a space where he just didn't really know how he could continue on, knowing that Drake had it like that. So we don't know if he's gonna make it back. We don't know if he's gonna recover from this. So maybe we'll see him next week. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But either way, you got Donnie, leader of the Xbox Empire, here tonight, and you've got me, the number one hater.
I'm just a mere deputy. I just picked up where I could, did my fair share trying to be Anakin.
Yeah. I mean, look, we signed up to Microsoft Game Pass because of Donnie Reese. So
That's it. Microsoft Game Pass.
yeah,
Can't believe folks ran with that. And you knew Chase would bite on that, right? Like we all knew Chase would. I saw it and I was like, come on, man. But our channel for now will never forever be known as Microsoft Game Pass Empire.
As it should be.
Just for you, Chase.
Until it becomes the PlayStation Empire. And then...
Yeah. PlayStation Game Pass. Jesus.
Oh man.
Jesus.
We got a show ahead of us. But before we get to all of that, Donnie, what the hell you been up to, man?
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. Work. Like everything's still broken, everything's still on fire. I will tell you this. I'm not going to talk about my work a whole lot. I'm not going to talk about my job a whole lot, but I do want to at least give you an update because we haven't talked.
Yeah.
In the last couple of days, intentions were made known. And people have intervened to change the outcomes for some in a favorable fashion.
Okay.
And we'll see where it goes.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
I do want to say, I've been drinking like for hours. So yeah. It's not.
Let's go.
It's been fine. I'm in a good mood. I'm in good spirits. I'm just tired, man. I'm tired. And I'm okay. It just is what it is, right? I'm just work all day. Go. Like I'm just tired. So when I came home, like my neck is hurting again. My hands are hurting again. No. Like I'm tired. And like I came home and I was like, I need to decompress a little. So I probably already had 3 or 4 drinks since before we even came to the podcast.
Sometimes you got to do that. I mean, I feel you. Like I am still in work clothes. This is what I wore to work. So it has been crazy busy at work for me too. We had a lot of stuff that just broke. So we've been trying to put everything back together. So yeah, I feel you. Mine wasn't as bad as yours. And I'm also not dealing with more job stuff. Yeah. But
I got called into the office today.
Oh.
For like 3 hours.
That's ridiculous.
To have a discussion. It was good. I felt seen. Yeah. I feel heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think I made my intentions well clear. And as I thought, like they weren't just going to let me do whatever I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where it goes. Nothing's in cement yet. We'll see where it goes.
All right.
I played Cereza. The Bayonetta game, Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon. Okay, I talked about on Shack. I talked about a whole lot here. It's great. It's like Bayonetta. They made like a little spin-off game, like an artsy. It's different. It's like not even a Bayonetta game. It's like a little indie, like dual stick control puzzle platformer type thing. It's good. I'm like, it's a beautiful game. It's on Switch. And then what I've been playing since it was announced was the demo for Geometry Wars Survive, which I could not believe happened. We didn't get it at a direct or a developer thing. Nobody showcased it. Nobody cares. Nobody knows Geometry Wars anymore. And to hell if the new Geometry Wars didn't just drop, and I was over the moon. I may lose my life to this game for the rest of the year. So what this is there is an interesting twist on it. It's Vampire Survivors, the viral hit game that everybody loves, like the roguelike thing. They just took their formula and there was like, but it's also Geometry Wars. So think Vampire Survivors, but it looks and sounds like Geometry Wars. And as you collect your upgrades, you get like Geometry War upgrades, and you do your ship, and you just keep doing that until the neon explosions, get you. And then you rinse and repeat, and you do it again. I probably played the demo for about an hour, just like the demo, because the game doesn't come out for a couple weeks, and it's great. I like it a lot. So
nice. I know that you were a big Geometry Wars fan, so I'm glad you got some more.
I loved it.
Plate there. Especially
it was one of my favorite things about stuff. It was going to be one of my favorite things about the Vita. When the Vita came out, they had Geometry Wars 3, which I was like, new Geometry Wars, but it's like completely different. It's like, damn, I don't know. It's like Mario Galaxy, but Geometry Wars is like there's like a sphere, and like you rotate around the sphere and you go around the world. I was like, no, not like this. Like nobody wants this. That was one of my bigger disappointments. Geometry Wars 3, but I love Geometry Wars Retro Evolved. It is still one of my favorite games, and this is that. It's like, have you ever did you like that game? No, would you just like enlist that game? Here you go, and that's it. So
cool, nice. I've been playing jack shit. I haven't touched a video game since last week at some point. I don't know. I just have not had time. Yeah. My wife is really busy with going back to school, or not going back to school, going back to teaching. So like everything is starting up for her. So she's just been in the office a lot, and I've just been tired. So like I went to bed last night, I think at like 9:30.
Dude,
I've just been exhausted.
I feel you. Like I'm not looking forward to that. I got a briefing in the morning, so like this turnaround is gonna suck. Like this is gonna be bad.
yeah. I hear that. Yeah. So we've just been watching shows. We restarted we restarted Game of Thrones. We're gonna watch Game of Thrones again just because it's so good until it's not. So we've gotten all the way to season 7. We just started season 7, and we're like, oh man, it's getting to the end. This sucks. Season 8 is trash. But
I'm still watching that Apple TV show with the soccer coach.
Oh, Ted Lasso. Is that what it is?
I'm still watching that. It's okay. It's
People
pretty good.
Keep trying to get me to watch that, and it's okay.
Refuse. It's pretty funny. I'm not like in love with it or anything, but like it kills time from time to time. I've been watching some movies. I got my John Wick collection just came in. I'm dying for the Godzilla movie to pop. Like I really want to watch it.
Oh yeah.
Keep waiting for it to hit a shelf somewhere that I can buy it. But
one day.
We'll see.
Yeah. I finally watched the series finale of Archer.
Oh yeah.
It just made me sad. Yeah. So good. I loved that.
I haven't got there. I've really tailed off watching it like since last season. Like every now and again when I have nothing to watch but I want to watch something, like I'll find my way back to it. And I honestly don't think it has anything to do with Archer. It's just I only open Hulu like every now and again. Like I just don't open Hulu enough. Sometimes I forget to even have it. So like I got to be in the mood. It's like, it's like buried. It's like all the launchers on your PC. We need the Play Night feature for streaming services. I need to take all of my streaming services and put them in one launcher so that I can create a favorites list and then just launch it from there.
YouTube does that. Like not YouTube, but the Chromecast kind of does that.
Yeah.
So the new Chromecast kind of has like here are all the shows that you enjoy, and it'll just go into whatever.
My TV does that too. One of the TVs that I have has like a here's what you've recently watched kind of thing. Yeah, but again, I don't watch much TV, so kind of forget that I even have it.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Hulu either, but when Archer was like in season, like I was watching it every week, like faithfully, because I only have like 3 or 4 shows that I watch at a time, and that happened to be one of them. So I was just actually watching it every whatever day it came out, and I had been waiting
see the sports bundle announcement.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
I'm very excited. This is all I've ever wanted. I've been waiting on this forever. I've been predicting it, proclaiming it, and saying it was inevitable, and it's finally happening. and that's hopefully I won't have to keep hitting up Delvin for his cable credentials so I can watch football games.
Yeah. Luckily, I watch the Niners and they're on enough, so I don't ever have to really worry about not being able to watch them. They come on Fox. I'm really good to go.
Sports has been the last bastion of cable. Like, it's been the last thing that like streaming just doesn't really do a good job of. And I'm hoping that this will at least cover, like, I don't expect it to cover all the bases, at least cover the majority of them. You know, like give me 80% of what I'm looking for, and I'm happy to give you $60 a month for that. That'd be great.
God, it just feels so expensive. But
it's gonna be
I'm
expensive.
okay,
dude.
with whatever comes on TNT or TBS for basketball.
I said to my wife, and she was like, "How much is it going to cost?" I was like, "It's going to cost every bit of $60." And she was like, $60, because that's the streaming mindset has people, and they're like, "You can't." I'm like, "Do you have any idea how much money they'd like pay the Big Ten to have like Ohio State games? They pay them $1 billion.
Nobody told them to do that. That's their fault.
Yeah, but that's not how economics work. It's going to be expensive for sure.
I hope that nobody buys it. I hope that people.
I will absolutely buy it. I'm buying it immediately.
Yeah, I hope you're like one of 12, and they realize it's
going to be millions
ridiculously expensive, and they
millions
just
of
say
us.
no.
Sports are a big deal. It's millions of us.
But that's just too damn expensive. It's ridiculous.
It's not. It's really not. It's just able.
$60 for sports.
And they said that they're like, well, one, we don't know the price, so I'm guessing. But they also said that you can bundle it in, like if you have Max or Hulu, so you might get a discount if you already do those things. So that might work.
Yeah, I'm still not paying.
Maybe it's like a $40 add-on to like my Hulu. That'd be great. Perfect.
I just glanced at the chat, and I love that your wife is talking to the cat.
That's my girl. That's my
awesome.
sweet girl.
She really just be back there on the head of your, like, the fact that she just never falls. She's just there.
No, I can swing around and move.
I know. Good. I watched it happen, and she's good.
She does this all the time. I work, she's like this, and every now and again she'll like creep to my shoulder. She'll rub my cheek, and then sometimes when she's feeling really clingy, she wants to get down on my chest and she wants me to hold her. But I don't do that a whole lot. But right now she's bathing. But yep.
Madness.
My wife's jealous of me and Annabelle's relationship.
Yeah. I feel like she's jealous of you and all the cats' relationships.
Pretty much.
They're your cats.
They are my cats. That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Dr. Doolittle.
well, our kittens, the new ones, they've begun. This is kind of a recent thing, like this winter. They've begun sleeping in the bed.
Oh my God.
So like I have like a cat like on one back of me and like the other one like in front of me, and like they sleep with me. Like they get under the blanket. Yeah, it's a new thing.
Donnie is the crazy cat dude. That's what you've become at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as you can see, me and Donnie ain't been doing shit this week, but trying to live. So we've got no Delvin for any Florida man stories because he's a pile of shit and fuck him. So let's get into this Xbox news.
Dude. Okay. This is all rumors and conjectures. Let's start there. Like I want to carefully unpack this. And before we do, let's put up a big flag and a big warning that this is all heavily speculation. Heavily speculated. There's information coming from Xbox soon that possibly could be a monumental shift in the gaming industry. And before we even go from there, Dev, I didn't expect anything like this. Like, why is this? Like, this is so like out of pocket right now. Like, what? Why?
Yeah. It's so far out of left field. It's like we're dealing with so many things, and all of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, here's a bunch of rumors that are going to completely put you on your ass." Like, what?
Yeah, this is potentially big. So let's start breaking it down. I've tried to create a timeline. We have questions. I have got notes, or at least thoughts that I wanted to pull together. Okay, so the online Xbox community is in complete shambles after a week of rumors and speculation that was led and started by Xbox Era, who this past weekend started a report that said Xbox was planning on bringing Starfield to PS5. Citing a source, when the Starfield DLC drops on Xbox later this year, it was rumored to be announced that Starfield would be announced coming to PlayStation 5 and that Xbox had bought PS5 dev kits, more of them, to assist with future plans to have more support on the platform. Now, obviously, this comes off the heels of what we've been hearing for weeks, that Hi-Fi Rush would be coming to Switch and PlayStation 5. But obviously, these are not the same game. Starfield is a whole different thing, right? Yep. That threw people in a tizzy. I don't think anybody cares that Hi-Fi Rush is going anywhere.
People be surprised.
People care a great deal that Starfield would show up anywhere. That was then followed up pretty quickly. So I think this might have been like a Saturday, Sunday. I don't have the times, but like the next day, The Verge, Tom Warren, right? He goes on record and says, hey, I've been hearing that it's not just Starfield and that Indiana Jones will also come to PlayStation 5. That game's not even out yet. Right? Like we don't even have, like Xbox doesn't even have Indiana Jones yet. So that's like a whole other, like now people are like, what's going on?
Yeah.
People are losing their minds. Before we keep going, I want to stop here. Because this weekend, I didn't really chime in on it a whole lot. Because to be honest with you, when I first started hearing the rumors, I was like, I actually think this makes sense. What I thought was happening was they bought Activision. They're bringing Activision on. It doesn't make a whole lot of, I mean, we've talked about it for a year of the financial sense. So that aside, I don't think it made a whole lot of sense to like, we're going to publish Call of Duty everywhere, but not the Bethesda games. Like what? Like it's kind of, there's like a weird kind of, but not, you know, it's like you've got your foot in two different paths. So when I first started hearing this news, I was like, okay, now that they have ABK, they're going to streamline this. ABK, Bethesda games are all timed exclusives. They're all going everywhere. And like, that was in my head, I'm like, that's the news. This isn't that big of a deal. Because I don't care. I've been saying since they bought Bethesda, I would make it all timed exclusives. I like good guy Xbox. I like good guy Phil Spencer. I'm like, yeah, you know, they've talked about it. We've talked about it. I really bought into their whole play anywhere, cross play, you know, their whole like,
it just makes good business sense.
I agree. Plus, like, these are games that people have had. They already have Fallout 76. They already have Elder Scrolls Online. They already have Minecraft. Like, this makes sense. Just do that for those games. And Xbox has its like traditional exclusives. That's where I thought this was going. Then the next day, like these rumors keep snowballing. The next day, like the whole fucking floor drops out. They're talking Halo Infinite's coming to PlayStation 5. Jeff Grubb's like, I've heard from the coalition that Gears is being potentially ready for play. I'm like, Gears? Whoa. What are we doing? And here's the thing about Jeff. Not everything he says is right. He told us Wind Waker is coming and has yet to show up. There are two things that I constantly will always like sub for Grubb over. If Jeff Grubb says anything about EA or the coalition, I take it to the bank. He's been right on them almost every time. I don't know who his sources are, but I 100% trust that he has credible sources in both of those camps. He has crushed EA for years. Like he had the Star Wars name out like a year before that game was announced. He's like, yeah, they're going to call it Survivor or something like, and people were like, what? Did Jeff Grubb just name the game? Like he's got that down, and he had like a lot of intel on like what they were doing and what they were doing around the Matrix demo and Unreal. And like, he knows something at the coalition. He's got somebody there. I'm sure of it. So if he says that, hey, I know that they're thinking, talking about it, whatever, I believe him. 100% I believe him. And that's a massive shift. That's a whole, we're talking about a whole different thing now. Now we're like
an Xbox like pillar that you wouldn't expect to be anywhere else.
I buy consoles for Gears of War. You know, like that's a whole separate
you got
thing.
A wall full of Gear stuff.
Whole thing. So this keeps going on. People keep finding tidbits. These influencers keep talking. I do want to point out a lot of the influencer leaks, like I want to separate them. There's like The Verge and Xbox era and Jeff Grubb. These are what I consider credible industry
journalists, actual journalists.
Then there's like the Xbox YouTube mafia that have taken this stuff and ran with it. I don't know how credible they are. I do know they have sources. And my impression from what I've read and seen talked about is that they're probably being fed information from certain people that are not happy with it. And I only say that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't believe them or discredit. I'm not saying that at all. They may be right. But what I'm saying is if that's what I believe to be their source.
Okay.
If that's their source, then think about the source. You're getting like one half of this. You're getting a story from one very specific perspective. And I think that's led to a lot of the negativity here. Now, I'm not going to try to sell this as a great thing. I don't know if it is or not. But I also don't know if it's going to be a bad thing. There's people jumping off the cliff. They're selling their Xboxes. They're burning them. They're throwing them away. Like, people are losing their minds. This week has been...
I can't believe we haven't seen more destroyed Xboxes. Like, that's what I've been waiting for. Where are the people who are just breaking their stuff?
And a lot of that's coming from, I think, this Xbox YouTube community that really, like, embedded their community and, like, their self in this, like, go hard for Xbox exclusive. Like, they've been telling themselves for like years that Xbox is gonna reclaim the mountaintop and stuff, and like, this is a very hard shift in that way. And if their sources, their people are telling them these things, I think the way it's being presented, I think they're telling them out of anger. I think they don't like this change, and they're giving that one perspective. I don't know what the other perspective is. Maybe the Xbox is going third party. We don't know. We'll find out. But if they are, maybe there's something else to it that we yet, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand you might be upset that they're going multi-platform, but what if they announce something with it that makes it not so bad?
Right.
Like, we don't know the whole story. That's all. I just wanted to point that out. We don't know the whole story.
Absolutely. I can't believe how upset people are about games that, you know, you've already played and had for so long, or possibly going
there was a lot of that.
That I'm not so weird.
I'm not surprised by it, because if another company was doing this, there'd be equally anger, like on all sides. There is no group of fans that are above this.
I think it's all stupid.
Well, no. Well, we might agree there. Well, I mean, and it was one of my points. I've been saying the same thing for 2 years? You've heard me say it how many times? Once it goes to PC, what does it matter anymore?
Right.
Once it's on PC, it's not exclusive anymore. They're all multi-platform once they're on PC.
Yep.
And you can try to not count PC and all that, but like with Steam Decks and Allies, it's no longer, if you're thinking multi-platform, it's not that it's multi-platform, it's that it's not on one specific platform.
Correct.
That's it. See, and that's the rub. That's the friction. It's like all Xbox games are multi-platform, have been for years.
Yep.
Right? It's just that it's not on a specific platform. That's the problem, right? PlayStation, so many of their great exclusives have been multi-platform. They come later, but they are still multi-platform. Right? You can play The Last of Us on a lot of things now. It's a multi-platform game. The only company that's not multi-platform is Nintendo. Like, they're the only one. They're like, fuck you guys. This is what we're doing.
They're holding on to that bastion. Like,
yeah,
you want Mario, you come here for it.
So a couple more. There was a LinkedIn job for a Halo job on LinkedIn that said that
saw that
you'll be building a game for all players. It's specifically for all players on all platforms.
Yeah,
that doesn't feel something like general job description stuff.
Not at all. That's very, very specific.
Yeah. And then after all of this happened, after this whole weekend of crazy snowball rumors and conspiracy theories and what's happening, and people, like, there were people tweeting pictures of like their receipt from GameStop. They didn't got rid of their whole the console's gone, the controller's gone, the games are gone, it's all gone.
Look, those people are dumb because they also are buying physical copies of games that are on Game Pass. I don't know if I trust you anyway.
That's a good
dumbass.
Point. So all of those things have happened, and then out of Monday afternoon, it's been a long time. Before I even read this, remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about Xbox. This company responds to negative criticism faster than anybody. They walked back their whole games with gold thing because Twitter folks got angry.
Sure did.
The whole thing, they walked it back. That took like 1 day. This had been going on for
like,
days.
Whoa. Never mind. Sorry.
This had been going on for days and not a peep out of Xbox. And then we hear from Phil Spencer via tweet, and he tweeted the following: "We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox." Yo, not a denial, not even a throw you off the scent of it, not of a, hey, you don't know the whole picture, this isn't what it seemed, nothing. We'll talk to you next week.
We'll see you in a minute.
Dude, that totally
Hold on, we'll see you
it's happening. Like
something big. Yeah,
it's like, whoa, what the fuck are you guys doing? And now, because of that non-confirmation confirmation, now everything's on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have a week to think about what this means. And we may be right, we may be wrong. And we'll definitely most assuredly be wrong about what that means for Xbox going forward. That remains to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
There were folks in our Discord, and I've seen other folks online that try to, because we don't know, because of the rumors, and this happens all the time in games. I'm not even upset about it, except for there's a sliver that I think is just a bit disingenuous. There was almost like a reaction, a counter reaction to be like, who cares? This isn't going to be that big of a deal. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. This is a huge deal.
Yeah, you don't understand the implications that it has.
This is a huge deal
going forward.
Even if we don't know what's happening, based on what's been alleged and the non-confirmation that we have, just that bit of information makes this a huge deal. Yeah. It just is. If Gears of War shows up on another, that's a huge deal. Whether you care or not, or want to sell your that's irrelevant. It is a huge deal. We're talking about something that we haven't seen in 30 years of games.
I was gonna say ever.
Right. and I was thinking about that. I was like, I haven't seen anything like this, because one of my points that I wanted to bring up was Sega used to be a platform provider.
It sure did.
And people remember Sega back then and what Nintendo don't and all that, and the console wars. I had a Dreamcast and a Saturn. I never had a Genesis. I had a Dreamcast, and I played my Dreamcast, and at the time, I loved my Dreamcast. I had no idea that Sega was on the outs. I had no idea that there was anything going on, because I didn't pay attention to the industry like that. I just had a Dreamcast, and then there was no other Dreamcast to buy. There was no other Sega system to buy the next time, so I bought something else. That's like my memory of the last time, potentially. And again, we don't know this to be true. I keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying it. We don't know what's happening. So that was the last time potentially a console maker
dropped
exited or potentially left or bowed out or anything like that. And I'm not saying that this is it, but based on what we know and what we don't know, it could be. And that in itself, the fact that we're even this close to it being that is a huge deal.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
It's a complete shift, because now what we've held on to for so long in gaming is these console wars. And this essentially just gets rid of that altogether, because Nintendo ain't playing no console war and hasn't been playing a console war for some time now. They're like, we do what we want, and either you're on board or you're not. But Sony and Microsoft have just been going at it. And Microsoft is like, y'all are playing checkers. We're about to play this chess game real quick. It's a complete shift.
So, that's the news. That's where we're at now. I have a lot of thoughts.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are, because, and I'm not an Xbox person. I'm just not. I never have been. I've never owned anything but the Series X, and that was only for, not even the Series. I'm sorry. Was it Series X? What was the more powerful Xbox One? One X. That's what I had. I had that for a brief period and never really played it. So I look at this from I'm a Sony guy. I love Sony consoles, but I also play a lot of stuff on PC. So I'm like, okay, if they're going to say, yeah, we're going to keep Game Pass, we are going to still have all these games on the consoles you know and love, but we're also going to go ahead and put them on these other platforms and charge a premium for them to me, it's like if you're a Microsoft, you're like that. To me, that should feel like a win. Like we're having our cake and we're eating it too. I get to play all the Xbox games that I know and love for this wonderful service that is Game Pass. You got to pay $70 for it, where I don't. And now that they're getting that additional revenue, maybe that means they get to make more games. They get to make better games. They get to put that back into Xbox and possibly have more exclusives that may be timed exclusives on my box. And you get them later, but I get them first. And I don't have to pay a premium for that. It just comes with my service. So for me, I'm looking at it and I'm like, why wouldn't you do this? Because to me, it never made sense to buy Activision or Bethesda at the prices that they paid for those companies to keep the games on the console that isn't selling the most. It just doesn't make good business sense to not also put those games.
I 100% thought that was Call of Duty. Call of Duty is way too big to make it. You kill it, Call of Duty. Like, that's too big. Some of their niche stuff, I thought, probably makes more sense. Probably get more good out of it by making exclusive, or at least timed exclusive, than you do by making multi-platform.
Timed exclusive makes a lot of good sense. And I don't understand why they wouldn't have just done that out the gate. Like, yeah, you get it here for a year, and then a year later it'll come to whatever.
How do you feel about that with like core titles though? Halo, Gears, Forza.
To me, it's just weird. It's crazy to think that you'd be able to play a Halo
play Gears 5 on your Gears. I'm happy for you. It's awesome. Like, I hope more people do. I love it.
Don't play it on PlayStation. Play it on PC.
But it's like wild that like it was wild that this is what we might be looking at in the near future. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I agree with you. You know,
but as much as we talk, we're on the same page.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to get this out of the way. People have heard me say it before, but like people have listened to our shows. They know that I've been preaching this since basically since the console's launch, and I turned it on and was like, oh, this ain't it. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's been what, 3 or 4 years now. I've been saying like, I really don't care. I really don't. Like, I've bought into this. I've told Sean like all of it timed exclusive. I'm down with it. Do all of it. I don't care. I'm playing on PC. I got all my games here. I want other people to have that. I really don't care. That said, I do understand the console business. And what would you say? Everything's timed exclusive. There's a lot of people that are going to see that and go, then I'll never buy that box. And that's a real thing.
Yeah.
They will have to mitigate the repercussion of that if this is the path they're choosing. So like there is a part of me that's like, okay, I'm on board with either timed exclusives or whatever they're going to do, day and date, multi-platform, awesome.
Yeah.
How do you keep Game Pass alive if you shrink your console business where Game Pass is like where you do most of your Game Pass business? There's a part of me that wonders like, where do you go from there? Now I've got thoughts on it, but
so my thoughts are
that back to
you take that loss for a little bit. You take that loss while you're getting the things out there, while you're trying to make deals to put Game Pass in other places. Because if you can absorb that loss, which we know Microsoft can.
As an olive branch.
Yeah. You absorb that loss while you can. And it's like, okay, look, no problem. You guys don't want to bite on this box. Cool. You can pay for the games for $70, but you know, you could also get Game Pass on PlayStation now. Like if we can make those inroads to where Game Pass is now everywhere, then we've ascended. We've ascended the whole console war things, and we've done what Microsoft is. They are a software company that happens to also make some pretty nice hardware. So like if you love Xbox and you love the feel and the way everything does with Xbox, you still have that. It doesn't go away. You maybe get some games for a time before other places.
Yeah.
But if you really want to just be a PlayStation gamer, but you happen to like some of the Xbox games, we have that for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm with you. I was saying this, the few occasions that I remember most, when Blade was announced, there was a lot of talk about where it was going to show up, right?
Yeah.
That happened again.
Do we even
after
know still?
We don't. That happened again.
Okay.
I actually know. I think there was a blog somewhere that said it was exclusive, but now I don't know what that means. That happened again after Indiana Jones, and it happened again with the Hi-Fi Rush. And in every one of those instances, I said the same thing. Like, there's a part of me, and I remember I went on the Xbox Drive with Sean and Ryan, and I said the same thing. I do believe if you hold Xbox to the talk that they've been talking, about wanting to venture out and be more supportive and extend Game Pass's reach, I do think they have to strike first in terms of reaching out to others. They can't wait for others to come to them, right?
Yep.
So I do think becoming a good partner and a good publisher on a rival platform and showing them that you can coexist as opposed to rivaling each other is the first step into potentially having that outcome that you talked about.
Yeah.
And I do think this might be a part of that. But I've got a lot of thoughts. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah, of course.
Right. I wrote down some notes. They're not in any order. These are just some talking points that I wanted to bring up. It's honestly probably just more or less a summary of what I typed in Discord this week. I don't know.
Discord was a blast, by the way.
It was a lot of fun.
Just go into
we were having
Xbox
a lot of fun
chat.
with this.
Oh man.
Xbox, like EX is the title of the show, our Xbox, EXbox. We also posted the Game Pass picture that BMOX took the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And, on the Game Pass thing that does PC, console, and cloud, he changed the console icon to a PS5 icon. We tweeted that out. I don't know how many people noticed that. It was beautiful. Okay. Okay. I've got a couple of different points, and I want to start here. I wanted to kind of recap like how we got here. I'm not surprised that this might be the outcome at all. I'm shocked that it's like right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm shocked that it's happening right now. Like this wasn't on my bingo card. Like I thought like, okay, you've had this platform and you've cultivated this customer base for decades. If you wanted to go this path, I would imagine you would tail off the console, and then at the next console like cycle, you would we're going in a different direction. The fact that they're like right in the middle of this thing, they've got people bought in, they've announced game. They just had this developer direct that was very positive. Indiana Jones was the talk of the town, and it's like 2 weeks later they're like, and third party. Like what? Like why? Yeah. This seems really out of the blue.
It makes me wonder if this was the plan all along.
It is
just waiting to get
That's
Xbox
exactly where I'm going.
or Activision in the fold, right?
The first thing that came back to my mind is something that I think they were clowned for because of how much money they have. But if you go back to the Call of Duty Activision trial that we covered all year long, they went on record. Just one, I just want to say, Satya and Tim Stewart, they've went on record many times saying that they wanted to do this. So this should not be a shock to anybody. But that aside, we learned in that trial how much of a disadvantage they were competing for games in the marketplace against PlayStation. To the point where Activision was like, if you don't give us the cut we want, we're just going to skip your console altogether because you just don't matter. Like they've been eternally in third place.
Yeah.
And I think they were clowned during that. There were so many people. I remember we were getting write-ins. I'm so sick and tired of them playing the poor company. And it's because Microsoft is the tech conglomerate.
Correct.
And they have all the money in the world. So you're like, you're not the victim, right? And of course they're not. But Xbox struggling like hell to stay alive. They're like, we're trying our best, guys.
Xbox is like the Linux of video games.
It's like we tried to do the Tomb Raider thing and you hated us, and we tried to do this thing and you hated it. Like, and it's like at every step, and you talk about it all the time, at every step of the way, it's like they're the lovable loser.
Yeah, everybody
likes dunking on them, and I'm not surprised that this might be the outcome, because it's like the first thing I thought of that I wrote in Discord the day that the news really started to get going is like, did people just think they were just going to stay in third place forever and be like your lovable loser brother that you get to like make fun of? They're not going to do that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
they get to go out on their own terms, unlike Sega, who just crumbled.
Yeah. They're not just going to sit there and go, okay, well, let's just keep doing the same thing that Sony's doing for the same outcome again and again and again.
Right.
They've been at this, like in their current situation, they've been in this situation for over a decade. The situation hasn't changed. Since Don Matrick walked out on stage, their situation has been the exact same. They've been eternally in third. And it's actually gotten worse, because in 2013, as bad as it was, they were second. Now Nintendo's eating their lunch. They are significantly third, right? So, like, with all that said, like, I'm not surprised that they would want to reach out and change. There's a part of me that's kind of excited.
Yeah, me too.
Because I want to see what different is. And I want to point this out. I don't think they're leaving hardware. There's a lot of people that think they are. Yeah, I don't think they're leaving hardware.
Why? Why would you?
I think the reason is we saw their leaked documents. We know they've got plans for hardware. Now, maybe somebody woke up and changed everything about Xbox overnight. That's not how they work. That's not it. So go back to the point that you were making, which is the point I wanted to make. This has been in the plans. When they bought Call of Duty, see, I thought, and I think we all thought, they're going to buy Call of Duty. It's the biggest game in the world. They're going to put it in Game Pass, and that's going to close the gap. That was never the plan.
No.
They bought Call of Duty to get them here. They've become, and I said this in Discord, Xbox didn't buy Activision. Activision bought Xbox. They just become Activision. They just changed the name.
It's crazy.
They have now become, like, if these rumors are true, and all indications are that there are some sense of truth to it, they've become the world's biggest third-party publisher.
Yeah.
They're Activision. It's the same thing.
Again, they're playing chess while we were thinking checkers. Like, this is a totally different strategy. We're thinking, oh, they're just trying to win gaming and get out of third place. So they're trying to change their fate. They're trying to change everything.
They are trying to change their fate. They realize they can't. For the last 15 years, they've been trying to compete with PlayStation by doing exactly what PlayStation is doing. The same thing. Their console, look, we both have preferences to which console we like. At the end of the day, dude, they're the same fucking console. They essentially do the same damn thing, right? Like, one has a little bit different UI than the other. One has a little bit different control. They're the same fucking thing. And last gen, they were more or less kind of this, like, one was 1080, the other was 900. To the general consumer, it's the same damn thing.
1,000%.
Right? So there's a lot of people either getting rid of their Xboxes or saying they're going to get rid of their Xboxes or proclaiming that Xbox is going full third party to be out of the hardware business at all. I took this news as, I don't think Xbox is getting out of hardware at all. I do think they're going to do different hardware. That's what I saw. I was like, okay, this is different. We don't know what different means yet. If I had to guess, my guess is they'll get off of the hardware cycle that the PlayStation is on. They won't launch right next to PlayStation next time. There won't be a head-to-head. And I think that's good for them.
Yeah.
My other guess, especially the way the Series S is sold versus the Series X, is I believe their focus will be on affordable hardware. In my mind, maybe that means that Keystone project, that streaming stick, something like that. A handheld in today's market obviously makes a shit ton of sense.
So my question with the handheld is, do you make a Microsoft branded handheld, or do you just partner with, like, all the AIBs?
I think they would want to make there's still value to the brand. I still think they will sell more Xbox. If they took the Ally and just put a fucking Xbox logo on it and called it the Xbox something, it would sell more than the Ally will, just because it is, right?
Yeah,
because they have.
Why make that yourself? Partner with Asus and just brand partnership.
It might be something like that. It might be like a white label rebadging of sorts of a handle. Yeah. They also have, like, they have their own hardware teams too, so, like, it may be something like that. I think they may make a console for people that want a console, and it may be like a Series S like a cheaper, affordable console. You know, like, I could totally see them in a couple years coming back with, like, a Series X revision or something that's $299, right? I think they're gonna get out of, we have the alternate copy of the PlayStation 5 or 6 or Pro. I don't think they're gonna do that anymore. And for the people that want what I want, the best, I think they will say, you can play our games on PlayStation 5 or 6 or whatever. Or if you want the best that we have to offer, you can play on PC.
Yeah.
Or you have Game Pass. the reason that I look at the affordability thing, if they're going third party with all of their brands, and again, we don't know that. I still honestly think they may come out and be like, Activision, Bethesda games are going multi-platform. Our service games are going Sea of Thieves, Halo Infinite, right? How many units of Halo Infinite could they sell on PlayStation?
Right.
A shit ton. 10, 15 million copies, right?
Absolutely.
So I think they could still do that, but like Hellblade and Fable is still, I think that could be the thing. But if they're going full multi-platform, the only reason to have hardware is Game Pass.
Yeah.
For right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think then it's different. It's cheaper. It's different methods. The console isn't the console. It becomes a myriad of devices. How do we reach as many people with Game Pass as possible? Right?
Correct.
We're going to start with our consoles. We're going to reach a streaming stick. Let's get a handheld. Maybe they do an Xbox branded like laptop or something. Maybe they badge something like that. And then hopefully, to the point we made earlier, you work towards, can we get Game Pass on Switch? Can we get Game Pass on PlayStation?
Yep.
Which brings me to my other thought. They're the biggest third-party publisher in the world. They're the new Activision. They're Tencent, right? They're huge.
Basically.
If this, again, we don't know. I'm going to keep bringing it out because I'm trying to be very, I'm trying to keep the integrity here. We don't know what's happening. If the plan is we're going to get Game Pass on other things and we're going to go what I've always thought they wanted to be, Game Pass of the console, that's the product, we're ubiquitous Game Pass, then here's what I think happens. I do think they de-emphasize the console. I do think the consoles tank. And I think they change Game Pass. Not overnight, not next week. Maybe I would be wrong. But I think Game Pass becomes more like Ubisoft, where it slowly turns into only their games Game Pass. And then that lets them bring it to PlayStation and Switch and wherever. Because they can go, we're going to publish our games over there, we're a third-party partner, but like you can't block that. Like you can't, if it's just their games, nobody can block that. That will fall in court. So then they could bring Call of Duty and Gears and Halo and Fable and Forza and Crash Bandicoot. Think of all the things they have under their Elder Scrolls, Fallout. You wrap it all up in Game Pass and you put Game Pass wherever games are sold.
Yep.
And they have enough content now to do it. And do it successfully.
Very successfully.
I mean, you want to give Ubisoft $20 a month, or do you want Game Pass for $20 a month?
Yeah.
It's Game Pass. With hands down.
Game Pass, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Looking around.
Different landscape altogether, man.
That's more or less my notes. That's more or less. I had a lot of other, like I had quotes where, on the trial, like Sadia was like, we play in the market of exclusives because we have to. That's what we have to compete. But he's like, I have no interest in doing this.
Yeah, they want to, again.
People thought at the time that they were like,
everywhere.
yeah, you're just saying that shit because you're losing. And then here we are. Think about it. Not even a few months after it closed. They didn't even release one Call of Duty game in the Game Pass before they changed the whole strategy. So I'm with you, and I haven't heard that said a lot. When I was kind of going through this, I was like, that was never my idea. Close the gap game. That was never the plan. There was they wanted to buy Call of Duty without any of that ever factoring in. And to that, I would like to tell everybody that listens to our show, I was wrong. Like I was completely wrong. I think maybe a lot of the industry was, because I thought for sure, oh man, they just bought the biggest game in the world. They're about to double down on Game Pass. They're about to move some stuff. Like people are going to buy consoles for Call of Duty in Game Pass. I don't think that was really ever the plan. I really don't. I'm like, no, they're not doing that.
Yeah. They're just playing. They're like, we're gonna go the Nintendo route and play a whole different game. Like we're not gonna sit here and constantly compete with PlayStation and have to come out the ass because we're trying to play this exclusives things. Like we can't. We just can't do it. And why should we? We have another route we can do. Yeah,
like I said,
it's costing so much, and
if they do
every time they do it, nobody likes it.
If they do 5 billion copies at $70 for a game on PlayStation 5, 5 million is attainable with their install base. That's what, like $350 million. It's like something stupid.
Yeah.
No. It's $70. No, that'd be at $7. $70, $3 billion. Is that right? Have I been drinking?
I can't do quick
Somebody
math
check
in
my
head
math.
like that.
Because at $7, $5 million is 35. So at 70, it's got to be the one up, the extra exponential. So be. Somebody check my math. I have been drinking, as I alluded to, as I copped too early. Maybe that's way off. But as Dev checks my math, think of how many games they have that they could get 5 million copies of. Halo Infinite will sell 5 million copies next week. Yarden says 350 million.
50 million, yeah.
Thank you.
Million. Yeah.
Halo Infinite gets them $350 million. They probably get 5 million copies of Sea of Thieves. Probably get 5 million copies of Grounded. Definitely get 5 million copies of every Bethesda game and more.
Absolutely.
And if you think about that, if you're sitting there with them and they're like, I didn't write this down, but it's just not coming to me. Also think about this. Game Pass is stalled. They cut the price of the console. It's been $350 all quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Not selling. They're like, we had Starfield, the biggest game we've had in years. We cut the price and nothing happened.
Right.
And you know somebody's over there like, we're leaving $1 billion on the table if we just take some of these games and put them over there.
Yeah. I mean, you look at how well it sold on Steam. Put it on PlayStation and see how well it sells. Like, it just makes good sense to do that.
It did chart.
Mm-hmm.
Only because of PC sales. PC sales alone, Starfield charted.
Yep.
It was like what? It was like the 8th most selling game of the year.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting Game
Pass. Why are we selling that? Who's buying that? Because it's on Game Pass. And then you realize because people are just like, I'm going to buy the game. I don't need to do Game Pass. So you put that money, put those games on PlayStation.
Jeezy, I don't know what's it, Gazer Drev. I don't know how to do that. But chat points out, I am forgetting about the split. It would be 70-30, but generally I'm talking about a big pie of money, right? Yeah. And I'm only talking about 5 million copies. I have no doubt in my mind that Halo could push units on PlayStation. Mm-hmm. Gears of War, Gears 5 is a game that's 5 years old. They'll sell 10 million copies of Gears 5 on PlayStation.
People will buy it on PlayStation just to spite Xbox and be like, look what we got. People will do that.
So it's like they didn't even have to do honestly, and I was just thinking, I'm thinking 5 million is a marginal number. Like, I'm not even asking for them to be like Nintendo and have a 20 million copies sold. 5 million is a relatively attainable goal. I think they could have 10 or 15 games that could sell 5 million copies on PlayStation alone.
Yeah.
Like if you add that's over $1 billion, we could just make.
Right.
If we wanted to.
That's worth taking the loss on the potential people who just decide, I'm not buying an Xbox, I'm not buying Game Pass anymore. That's worth that loss, especially if they end up just buying the damn game on PlayStation.
Bruce points out that Nintendo and Sony would never want Game Pass on their consoles. They'd rather take the 30% off the top. You might be right. Again, if Xbox turned all of the games that they have and that's just Game Pass and they got rid of the third parties and stuff, if they went the Ubisoft way, and they were like, we're just going to put our app on your console, I don't think you could block it, because then Microsoft could say that they could take that to court. Hey, you've let Ubisoft do it. You let these other people do it. Well, we're doing the same thing.
Ubisoft Plus isn't on PlayStation.
Oh, is it not? I thought it was.
It's not. It's not on PlayStation. Ubisoft has like their Ubisoft Classic collection that is in PlayStation middle tier.
I stand corrected.
It is not on PS Plus, but EA is. So like EA, what the hell is it called? Whatever EA's thing is.
Yeah. EA Pass or whatever.
Plus. That thing is on
Access?
EA, no, I don't know.
It used to be Access. Is it EA Play?
EA Play. And then there's like the EA, there's a higher tier or whatnot, but EA Play is on PlayStation. Ubisoft Plus is not.
Yeah, if they took out the other stuff and just had their own stuff and it was blocked, then I think that's a pretty decent lawsuit. That I would think, and I don't know, I'm no fucking lawyer. I would imagine they would lose. Right? And Nintendo doesn't have a subscription service on theirs. Yeah. But if PlayStation does, which they do, if you blocked one but not the other, we just saw Apple go to court over like a very similar thing. I think they would have a very good case.
Yep.
But also, here's the other thing. 30% is 30%. 30% game sold, 30% Game Pass. It doesn't matter. 30% is 30%. If Game Pass doesn't have other games you're making money off of, if it literally is just the Xbox games, what does PlayStation care? They get the games.
Right.
What does Nintendo? Nobody cares. They get their 30%.
Take that money and put it into whatever exclusive games y'all want to make. Like, it's just, it just makes good business sense.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I honestly don't think PlayStation would block it if it was just Xbox's games.
Yeah.
If it's here's Bethesda, Activision, Xbox games, and we want to sell our subscription, we're also going to sell them separately. Why would PlayStation block it? It's not any. Yeah. It's literally not eating into their margin at all. They're getting 30%
money. Yeah.
It's making the money they can then put into smaller. They made this good. They're like, hey, we'll take 20 and be happy about it.
Right. Because 20% of 350 million is a lot of money that we can then take and put into more development, put it into making more Uncharted and things that we know sell 100%. PlayStations.
Yep. So
also,
for a minute, you almost had me thinking I went off on the deep end of that, but no, you've made me double down. I think that might be the case here.
Yeah. And here's the thing: we can also be really petty and be like, "Yeah, we caused you to become just a third-party publisher."
What was the thing about
we caused you to change up?
The thing that I think about is Jim Ryan, right? When they bought Bethesda, what did Jim Ryan say? They were asking him, like, what do you think about Xbox and these games? And he was like, I want them to keep the games on our console. He never wanted them to take them away. So it'd be weird to be like, they don't want Game Pass in there. If it didn't have the games that they sold, if it didn't have their third-party partners and stuff in there, if it didn't take away from their other businesses, I don't think they would care. That's just more games. Like, and you're just not competing with anything. But again, we should reference. We don't know how this is going to come. Again, I just want to drop it again. And if Game Pass came to other consoles, that would probably, it wouldn't totally destroy the need for them to have hardware, but it would significantly lessen it.
Yeah.
Like there's, like at that point, you're just selling something for somebody that like doesn't want a PlayStation. It's a very niche type of gap you're trying to fill.
Yeah. True, but then you could also be appeasing those people who are still the Xbox faithful who just really enjoy having an Xbox. Like you still have that brand loyalty, so it's like that doesn't have to go away.
Still prefer the console.
Still make an Xbox.
We had somebody that was like, "Should I get rid of my Xbox?" Like, I'm not.
Why would you?
None of this news has made me think of it. I still really like my console. Like outside of where the games are and exclude, like all that, throw all that out the window. My console has Game Pass. Literally, that alone is all I need. Secondly, I like the form factor. I like the look more. I like the controller more. It's a great 4K Blu-ray player. It's my streaming app for my gaming TV. Like there's all kinds of other reasons.
Yeah.
I don't have that Xbox because that Xbox can play Forza. That's not why I have the Xbox. Right. I bought that Xbox before that Xbox could play anything. There were no exclusives when I bought it. Like that's not why I bought it. Now I realize that's not how that's not how consoles, like console gamers don't think like that. We've done this. We've conditioned this since the 90s.
There's a lot of people
stack them up against each other, and we pick out who's got which one's better, and that's the one that generally people go with.
I don't think so.
No, they do. We know that. We know this to be true.
A lot of my friends, like, they'd be much better off with an Xbox. It would make way more sense for the games that they play and what they do. But they're just used to having a PlayStation, so they just keep buying the PlayStation. After I've told them multiple times. To that
point, I think you're right. There was people that were like, why would anybody buy an Xbox again if this was the case? Some people, I think, are just going to buy the thing they've always had.
Exactly. Like so you keep making those boxes
until somebody now here's the thing.
Keep doing it.
If we do the grandma test, you walk into GameStop and you're like, I want to buy an Xbox, and the person behind the counter goes, why? You can play Halo and Gears of War and PlayStation. That probably wins a lot of people over.
I mean, if grandma got told little Timmy wants a goddamn Xbox, grandma,
the grandma test has stood the test of time when it comes to the video games.
How does
grandma decide what to get somebody? So, that's ultimately where I fit. I think if this is true and they're going multi-platform, I think this is monumental news for the game industry. I actually look forward to the the ripples. I think it may make the game industry like a much more enjoyable space.
Yeah. It's going to be
like
hell
a customer
for a
and a
while.
friend.
People are going to be pissed.
People are going to be mad for a while.
It's going to be
especially
real,
people that
real
have
tough.
consoles, like just bought them, right?
Yeah, and again, why would you get rid of it? Like that just doesn't make any sense. Because all the stuff is still there. Like that's just so.
I mean, I agree with
dumb.
you, but like, I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it and act like it's all going to be fine. There is people out there that's like, I bought this because I thought these were all exclusives, and now that they're not or won't be, why wouldn't I get the other thing that has those exclusives and these games? And there's nothing to argue about that. If that's how you think, if that's your value, makes sense. Then get the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, trade it in.
Like if you really were like, I want the Xbox for these games anyway, were you really even looking at these other things? Like I feel like you weren't even really paying attention to those. So like to make this knee-jerk reaction to be like, I'm never buying an Xbox again, I'm getting rid of my Xbox that I just got, when it still plays the games that I ultimately wanted to play.
And ultimately, I will.
That's just nonsense.
I will once again stoop for Game Pass. I mean, I've seen a lot of people are like, why would you have an Xbox? And I'm like, I can think of one really major reason why. Game Pass. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? Game Pass.
It just,
like at the very least, get a Series S for Game Pass. Like if you don't have a PC, like a Series S just for Game Pass is worth it alone. Like I have no problem recommending that to anybody. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. And if Game Pass is the exclusive for their hardware for the time being, for the near future, for however long, then it's worth having that hardware, because 100%. Game Pass is that you will make your money, you will pay for itself. You will that return on investment will be huge, especially if, well, according to rumors, it's not, but if Call of Duty is showing up in Game Pass one day, that's a huge, that's a ginormous thing, right? So that alone for me is like, yeah, I'm gonna have Game Pass. Like there were so many people who are like, I'm just getting a PlayStation 5, and I was like, and what? Pay $70 for Gears? Pay $60 for Hell? Why? Why would you do that? I'm not going to do that. That's my point. If you got it like that, God bless you.
Got Delvin Gucci wallet money,
right? I paid for years of Game Pass up front to save those dollars, not to go and just buy them on PlayStation. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying $70 for Forza. Are you out of your mind? That seems, as somebody who's had Game Pass for like how long? What, like 7 years? That sounds insane. That's what? I'm not giving you $70 for this. This is the games that I get every month because of my awesome subscription. And you know, like that's a thing. We've learned that with music, and we've learned that with streaming and movies and TV. Once you open Pandora's box, you can't put it back. Right? It's like really, you're not going to turn Game Pass off and suddenly I'm showing. Now I will always buy Gears, but I'm not showing up for Forzas and Hi-Fi Rushes, and I'm not doing that. Right? Game Pass. So
still number one.
There's so many people. I've seen so many reactions of, I'm selling this and I'm getting a PlayStation. I'm like, wow.
So you just got rid of your entire library? You're just
$70 for Indiana Jones. Games. $70 for Blade. $70 for all this stuff. Every time, every day. No more indies, no more third party, no more EA Play, none of that.
And that's why I'm saying I think Xbox don't want any of that. Your dumbass loss. Like, okay, cool. We lost $70 from you for the subscription, but we just doubled our profit and then some because you decided to buy all the games for $70 instead of keeping the Xbox and just paying the sub.
Yeah, like that doesn't make sense to me. So if Game Pass is, again, I just want to say it one more time, we'll get into the questions. If Game Pass is the only exclusive that the hardware has going forward, then I expect that they will keep making hardware and that they will just change it to be Game Pass friendly hardware. And when this news happened and I started thinking this stuff through, there is a part of me probably like, and I'm not trying to like, this isn't copium. This is real. People that know me from Nintendo Jack, you know this is real. The man that loved the Wii U, you know this is 100% real. There's a part of me that is holding hope, like a weird optimism that like different Xbox could be something. Like I like when folks do something different. Right? Like I've got a fucking PC. I've got the best PC. It can play all the Gears and all the frame. Like I don't have no need for a Xbox Series Pro or an Xbox Series 6, or I have no need for that. You know what they could sell me though? Something different. A handheld, streaming, like give me something I don't know that I don't need yet. Be weird with it. Like I'm kind of seeing this. I'm like, could this be like Xbox instead of taking PlayStation's page? Could this be like Xbox taking Nintendo's page? Because if that's the case, I'm like, yo, sign me up. This sounds dope. And that's what I meant earlier when I was like, all we know now is like these couple journalism reports and a lot of angry Xbox influencers, what they're saying. What if this news is coupled with we're bringing our games to handhelds and tablets and streaming? Like, what if it's coupled with other news that is exciting that we don't know about yet? One of the things I thought of that I realize is like a really kind of out there idea, but like I don't think impossible idea. What if this news comes with anything that you've ever owned, like your entire Xbox library, we're putting on PC? Like the Xbox app on PC is just your full library. Your 360 games, everything just come. How awesome does that sound? Like there is something here, something that could be. Again, I don't want to sit here and just be like, I'm so fucking angry. That's a boring podcast. How many of those podcasts have already been made? I do think there's potential for something good to come out of this that nobody's talking about yet. Doesn't mean it's happening. And I'm not trying to sell you that this is a good thing, right? I'm not. I'm just telling you that there exists the potential. Yeah. We don't know. We don't know
yet.
We are in limbo until next week, until Phil Spencer's business update. I cannot believe, by the way, we didn't even talk about, I can't believe that he came out and was like, we hear you. You're seeing, like, what the fuck? I was stunned when I was like, no way. They did not just come out here. That is so carefully crafted corporate speak after all the shit that they've done. As communicative as they've been,
really have to go ahead and find the easiest way to say nothing.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit, dude, we're fucked!" Like it's going a whole separate way.
Yeah,
they did nothing to cool anything. They did nothing to cool the rumors.
And it could be them just being like, "This is hilarious. We're just gonna troll them a little bit," and it ends up being nothing. Who knows?
We know it's not. No, we know it's not. We've seen them deal with situations like this in the past. It would be shocking if they were like, yeah, we just didn't want to respond. That's not their MO, right? That's not what they do. That's what Sony does.
Right.
They're like, y'all be mad.
Sony don't say nothing. Sony
Stay mad.
will just sit there and just look at y'all like, and?
Yeah. We've got questions. We may have answered them already. I don't know. Free to Play Joe says, how would a true third-party Xbox change the gaming landscape going forward? We need somebody to push PlayStation, don't we? Nintendo?
How would that push?
I'll tell you this. If Xbox is not doing conventional hardware, that PlayStation 5 would have cost a lot more money.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
That's 100% my one worry.
They would have hit you with that $599 again.
That's the one concern that I have is if there is no other alternative console, what does Sony do with their prices? Because Sony loves being this boutique item that is expensive because it's special and it's Sony. So it wouldn't shock me at all if they're like, oh, we don't have to worry about Xbox undercutting us, $799. And then, now they look like the real shithead and nobody buys that because
and here's the thing, we
that
say that from console landscape, like that's an egregious thing. But you got the Ally over here and the fucking Steam Deck over here costing $599 and $649. Like if I'm PlayStation, I'm looking at that and I'm like, we can raise the price. We can raise. Do you see how much money these kids are paying for this shit? That doesn't do 4K. That doesn't play Blu-ray. Like
it's a computer. It does so much more.
But I'm just selling you from the optics. Like you are looking at it, you're like, we can totally sell this for more. You know,
so here's the
they're
question,
probably mad that they're selling it so cheaply.
Does that not drive more people to just be like, I'm gonna get a PC?
I'm
like,
look at me.
That's my thing. If you put me in that room, I'm gonna be like, don't do that, dummies, because then they're just gonna be like, why even do this? We'll get the PC and wait for you to go ahead and put your games on PC because they're coming.
But they won't.
If you lose those sales, what else are you gonna do?
That's a marginal base. We know that. There's console gamers that just hate people. Like, they don't want anything to do with PC.
Right. Okay. But not at $699. Not at $5. Not in this landscape.
They'll be mad, but I don't think they're going to buy PCs.
They won't buy PCs. They just won't buy PlayStations. It'll just be like, we're gonna stick on this one
Switches.
until we're gonna stay with this PlayStation 5 until
They'll buy Switches.
there's a serious price cut. No, I don't think they'll buy Switches because
they'll wait for a price cut.
PlayStation. Yeah, they'll just wait for it. They'll wait for a price cut because
that might help
way.
scalping and stuff. That might make things. There's an argument to be made there that makes it better. Not everybody. I don't think everybody deserves one on day one. It's a valid thing.
I'll tell you what, you fucking make the PlayStation $6.99. You can kiss my ass.
The thing that would hurt most as the Xbox fan is I've really enjoyed Xbox hardware. I think aesthetically, I also think innovatively, I'm gonna miss their controller. So like if they are leaving hardware, which I don't think they are, like again to reiterate, I don't think so.
No.
But if they are, and this is like the future, I would miss those innovations. Like remember they did crossplay before, like they broke down that wall. They did online gaming. They broke down that wall. For all the shit that Xbox gets, they've brought a lot to the gaming world. And I would hate for that to go. I really would.
I don't think they would stop making controllers and things like that because again, they still have a console in the PC. You still want to have
their
an
console,
Xbox
like their controller is the ubiquitous PC controller.
Yeah, so they would still have a lot of that stuff. I mean, they fixed online gaming. I wouldn't say they broke down that wall. They fixed it. They made it work because it already existed. It just didn't work. Microsoft said, "We'll
but like
show you the
they
way."
really, like LAN parties and thing that wasn't really a thing until they got going.
Yeah, because again, they fixed it. You could already go online with the other consoles like that. They weren't the first one to do that, but they fixed it and made it attainable. Because they're Microsoft. They did.
I don't know. I didn't have a PS3 at the time because I didn't get a PS3 until later. But for me, Xbox ushered in the digital store, the indie game. I think of like the summer, the indie arcade, and all that. Like to me, Xbox like really paved the way for a lot of those things.
That's the PC nature.
Yeah, and I would hate to see some of that stuff go. Ethan says, if Xbox puts all their games on PlayStation 5, will they ever make another console? Why would anybody buy an Xbox next generation? I think we answered some of that. There's a large portion of console gaming customers that I do think make their choice on consoles based on exclusives. I've been doing this long enough to know that that's a real thing. And I don't think those people would. So to answer your question, Ethan, if you're one of those people, I wouldn't fault you at all if you go, I'm just going to get the box that has all the games on it. Got it. Makes sense. Do it. For those people, I do want to ask, like, if that's the mantra that you go by, like if that's your true north, you should have a PC. Like your answer should be PC. And I question why you're not doing that already. Right. That said, why would you have an Xbox? Like I said before, maybe it's cheaper. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's a handheld. Maybe Game Pass, right? There are other ways of differentiating your product besides exclusive game.
Right. And again, I still think, like you said, we don't know that Game Pass is going to go to everything else. So if next generation, we still haven't had Game Pass on PlayStation, then and you still really want those Game Pass games, Xbox games, and you still buy the Xbox console because it has Game Pass. Or, like you said, the true north, save up and get the PC.
Yeah. I have Game Pass until 2030, Dev. I did the math.
Hopefully we'll be around still then. Who knows?
It's actually
Game Pass might outlive the planet.
I'm like 3 months short of 2030. I have it almost through the end of 2029. It's crazy.
It's a lot of, you're out here like Smog, just hoarding all the Game Pass.
Aaron writes, did Game Pass fail? If not, then why is Xbox giving up on their strategy?
Game Pass didn't fail, and we just think we may have gotten their strategy wrong. They, again, were probably playing at a different game than what we thought they were.
I definitely don't think they changed all their plans after they bought Call of Duty.
Yeah,
it's too fast. It's too soon. I think this has been the plan, and I just think they either kept it, like they kept it internal to like a few folks and didn't get out, which surprises me because a lot of Xbox stuff gets out. Or like, but this has been the plan for a long time. This doesn't happen all the time. This is nuts. Sean, sorry I stepped away. I was playing Alan Wake 2. More like Alan Sleep 1. Yeah,
Where's Rob? I feel like Rob has been MIA, but he needed to see that.
Yeah. I don't. Aaron, you kind of hit me where it hurts because I do love the Game Pass. I don't think Game Pass. To be devil's advocate, and only be devil's advocate, I do think one could probably make an argument that Game Pass has failed because it hasn't grown and it hasn't taken off as they got better games going. And I think maybe that was a key indicator that Xbox had to change.
Did they not have a large jump in their subs? I thought it was continuing to grow.
I believe they're still under the 30 million mark, or like right around the 30 million mark. Like it hasn't, since they kind of got to like around 30, it hasn't taken off in like years. It has like their growth has been on PC, but like I think on PC, I think it's marginal. I think Xbox thought they were going to get 60, 80 million people subscribed to Game Pass. And I think they have like a third of that.
How many Xboxes have they
sold? Starfield and Redfall and Forza and Hi-Fi Rush, and I don't think any of that moved the needle like in a major way. In a major way. Remember, this is Microsoft. Right. This isn't a little company. They want to move the needle 25 million people. Not 5 million. That's not moving the needle.
Yeah, and I think like you said,
they want to be Netflix.
It's Hi-Fi Rush. It's all these games that have been middling at best. Infinite didn't take off the way they wanted it to. You have a smaller install base on Xbox.
Train wreck.
Yeah, you've got the smaller install base on Xbox. You can't really grow there because more than likely the people that are already going to have Game Pass on the Xbox already got it. So you're trying to push into the PC space, and they're like, we'll just buy it on Steam. We'll just buy Starfield on Steam. We don't really need your sub because, there's not enough there for us yet. We'll go ahead and just purchase your games, probably at a discount through CD keys or some nonsense where they don't have to pay $70. But we still don't need your sub yet. So maybe it is a failure.
A lot of them just want to buy it on Steam anyway. Bruce says, I'd be more concerned about Sony raising the price of games more than the console. Most console gamers only buy a couple of games a year. A big percentage are only there for Madden, 2K, FIFA, and GTA. Yeah, you're right. And we've brought that up. There is a concentration of the money that gaming is making in a certain amount of franchises, and it's not being spread out across the industry. Like, Fortnite and stuff, they have a real good stronghold and it's hard to compete. It's a hard space to compete in when you've got a free-to-play Warzone and a free-to-play Fortnite, and you've got, exclusives, and you've got the juggernauts that you mentioned. It is really, really hard if you're like a Hi-Fi Rush to sell a game. It's hard to get the attention and the money. Especially when there's PlayStation Now and Game Pass and subs and free-to-play weekends and stuff. It's tough. It's tough. There's almost like you got to do a lot to earn people's money these days.
Is that Sony raising the price, or is that everybody coming together, devs, publishers saying we're going to raise the price?
No, I definitely think Sony raised the price, and because they took the hit for it, everybody could adopt it. There was no meeting where they got together and Sony was like, we're going to do it for the rest of you. Like, I don't think that happened. The reason I say that, Sean Layden made it very clear. These games are getting, like when he said these games, he meant their games. Their games were getting too expensive. Yeah. Like, he's like, we've got to stop this. So I may be wrong. I'm not trying to speak in absolutes, but it's my impression based on the conjecture that we've seen over the years come out from their leadership. They wanted to raise the price of games, and they were like, we're raising the price of games, whether you want to or not. Like, we're raising the price of games.
And that's what I meant. I was talking about more like Sony can do theirs, but that doesn't mean everybody has to follow suit. So
yeah, but once they did, everybody was going to, because they're the leader.
I was still shocked to see that Nintendo did it. Like, wow. I said, give me that money.
Oh, dude, Switch 2, every game, $70, 100%.
Wouldn't know. I'll never.
And 1080p glory.
I'll forget that it even exists.
$70.
Kids will never know there's a Switch 2.
Well, Nick asked kind of the same question, so we'll just skip that one. TJ says, if rumors are true and Xbox is going third party, do you think we'll see Game Pass on another console? I outlined the way that I think it could happen. I don't know if it will or not. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go that route. But them having gone this route, like with this multi-platform for all games, Gears, Halo, if this is the way they're going, my impression is they bought Call of Duty to bolster a Game Pass like service that they could put on other. I think that might be the path. If this is true, I think it leads to that end.
Yeah,
I think that's the path.
It makes good sense. Yeah.
And here's the other thing: if they are going fully multi-platform, I wouldn't be surprised if they buy somebody else. If that's the end, if the end is let's get enough games we can have our own service on PlayStations and Nintendos and PCs, like if that's the end, I wouldn't be surprised they bought another publisher.
Gaming gonna be mad. Like you bought somebody else after you.
But again, if they're all multi-platform, what does it matter? If they're third party, we did all of this dev for 18 months over Call of Duty, exclusive, not exclusive, Bethesda and all that, and it was never the plan.
Yeah.
That's like the realization I'm coming to. I'm like, oh my God, fucking idiots.
Yeah. Who do they buy?
So, yeah.
Capcom?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying who. I mean, I saw that on Twitter. Somebody, one of the journos was like, hey, if they're going full multi-platform, that makes it a hell of a lot easier for them to buy another developer or another publisher. And I was like, yo. Because I kept thinking of like, okay, if they're doing this, why are they doing this? And as I laid out, I think you do this to get you there. You do this to make your service about you and your games that you can then get on another platform. And if that's the plan, which I think is, I don't know if that is the plan or not, but I think it's a good guess based on what we have. I think it's a good guess. If that's the plan, then I could see them wanting to buy somebody else and have more games. Like, how do you bolster and strengthen your position as like the leading subscriber, like the leading subscription? More games. More game. Like they just bought Call of Duty. What would stop them from spending $20 billion on a smaller publisher?
Yeah, we're just going to
go
a Japanese
developer, a Japanese developer that they've said they wanted to buy. I'm not even thinking as big as Capcom, much smaller, but just get somebody. Let's get some of that stuff in there.
It's like, hey, we're like Netflix now. Just go ahead and sub. And we're everywhere. We're wherever you want to be.
You know this. I've been telling people since before this console launched. I thought that's been the plan. That's why I'm not so shocked by this and not so, like when this started to come in, we had a few people like, Donnie, what do you think about this? Like, I wish I cared more. And I hate to say that as like the former Xbox guy, but like as BMOX pointed out, I moved on a long time ago. I just have to be honest.
These were not your people.
You have heard me. You've been on. If you listen to our show, you've heard me on that journey. I'm not going to backtrack now and act like this doesn't really affect me a whole lot. So, yeah. That's it.
PC Donnie Reese.
We're an hour and 25 minutes, and we did pretty good on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, next week may be nothing. Maybe a gigantic week that you remember in gaming history. Yeah. The day Xbox went third party. I can't wait to see what they're going to. I'm on edge. I'm like, well, what are they going to do?
I got the Super Bowl on Sunday, and then what the hell is Xbox doing on Wednesday? I don't know. It's going to be
shocking.
Oof. Yeah.
Speaking of Game Pass, we've got Game Pass games. Train Sim World. 4. Apparently, there are 4 of these.
Wow.
For as hard as it is to sell games, the Train Sim World people have made 4 of them.
Keep it coming.
So, yeah. That's out tomorrow. Today. Madden hits Game Pass tomorrow.
Just in time for the Super Bowl.
Game Pass, man. Game Pass. Like, oh, I'm going to sell and buy. I'm not buying Madden. Fuck that. I haven't bought Madden in years. Are you crazy?
Just in time for the Super Bowl, I got me some Madden. Let's go.
Resident Evil 3 Remake hits Game Pass on the 13th. A Little to the Left, which is a game I've been wanting to play. Had some indie darling buzz. I've never played it. Comes on the 14th, alongside Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Plate Up, the multiplayer Overcooked type game, comes out on the 15th. Return to Grace, I don't know what that is, comes out on the 20th. And you can also get 30 days Paramount Plus for free for being a Game Pass member. So you can watch the new season of Halo.
I'm here for it. I already have Paramount Plus. I will definitely be watching Halo.
Dev will give you his report on the upcoming popular PlayStation franchise, Halo, the TV show. I mean, we've had so much fun with this, right? I immediately thought of the Xbox Drive. I was like, man, we're about to have to redo some intros. We're about to have the PlayStation Drive and the second PlayStation Drive. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I honestly can't wait to see how this all shakes out.
It's gonna be great.
In non-Xbox news, moving on, Disney has bought a stake at Epic to the tune of $1.5 billion, which sounds like a lot, but for Epic, I don't know how much that is. So like 2% or something like that can't be a whole lot.
I mean, they laid off a bunch of people, so how y'all do this?
Maybe they can. Maybe then they can now afford to rehire some people. That's probably what's
bring them
happen.
back. Bring them back.
So Disney said this: in addition to being a world-class games experience and interoperating with Fortnite, this new persistent universe will offer a multitude of opportunities for consumers to play, watch, shop, and engage with content, characters, and stories from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and Avatar. I don't like that. That doesn't sound good.
Thank you, friend.
Yeah, like, are we just old? Like our millennial asses are like, fuck that.
I think we are. I don't want
that. You know, there's kids somewhere like, yo, this is exciting, and I'm like, this sucks.
First off, you throw you say the word Fortnite, I'm already turned off, and then you throw in all these other
universe. Do you want to come into the Fortnite Disney universe? I'm like, no, not really. Not interested.
No, thank you.
But this is big news. So, and the first thing I thought of was like, they'll probably rehire some of those people because now apparently they're gonna start making some Star Wars game.
God, please no.
What if the future of your Star Wars, like what's a Star Wars team shooter? What's it like, Battlefront? What if that's just in Fortnite?
Go right ahead. Feel free. That can be in Fortnite. Yeah. Please. By all means.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is now a mode in Fortnite.
I don't want to have to enter the metaverse of Epic's thing to go play my Star Wars game. No.
The future, man. You got to get the Vision Pro.
God.
Gonna walk around in the Fortnite-verse.
Off this ride.
Dude, it's bad, right? It's bad. Like I was looking at my wife earlier, and I saw a story from Florida of a woman who dropped her kids off at their school, and she had an OnlyFans like advertisement on the car. Oh, it's like a Christian school, and they definitely were not happy. And then they expelled the kids, which sucks. Fuck that. Don't be hurting the kids.
That's not right.
That's the mom's fault.
Not right at all.
But I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, here we are. We've got the Fortnite verse. We've got the Vision Pro. People are driving cars with fucking headset on their face. We've got moms out here in the school bus lane being like, subscribe to OnlyFans. I look at Melissa, I was like, it's literally crumbling. Like it's, I don't know what we're going to be doing in 20 years, Dev.
We won't be here. Like I said, we may not live to see your Xbox Game Pass subscription expire.
Like it's bad. Yeah, like it's starting to feel that. At least living online is really starting to give up those vibes. Like suddenly Cyberpunk doesn't feel so far away.
No.
Like, oh
neither
boy.
Does, Idiocracy feels like it's right around the corner.
Yeah.
We're on our way to Idiocracy.
Goodness gracious. What are we doing? This was completely drowned out by this weekend, but late last week, rumors started to circulate the PlayStation's looking to doing another handheld. And I believe the rumor was that they would launch it near or alongside the PlayStation 6 and that it would play some native games and they would port like some console games and probably do some streaming. And I dig it. Like I am Donnie's
Game Pass. Game Pass is coming to the PlayStation Portable 6.
Could be a future ally.
Yeah.
I could go from the Ally to the PlayStation Vita 2.
It's possible.
I'm telling you, that's one way for PlayStation to get me peaked again. They're like, we're making a handheld. Just put Infamous on it, and I am there. I'm so excited. Hot Shots Golf. Well, they closed down Studio Japan. Maybe they'll pay Camelot. Just a Little Big Planet. Give me a Little Big Planet game.
I don't know why you think that there'd be anything from the PS3 on that. We know the PS3 games are just locked.
Backwards compatibility, man.
It doesn't exist now.
What about PS4 games? Native PS4 games.
PS4 games, sure.
Awesome.
The PS3 games is just
Infamous.
They're just
First Light. I want a First Light Vita 2 with good HDR this time. Fix it.
Good HDR.
The HDR in First Light and Second Son sucked. It's the worst.
I don't like HDR at all. Honestly, I'm not a fan of HDR.
I love HDR when done well. It's great.
That's the problem. It's not done well enough.
I feel like God of War had excellent HDR. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about it.
Yeah. You also have to have a really good. You have to have a good enough screen for HDR too. That's the other problem.
That's true. So anyway, a minute and hour 30. I've been talking a lot. I will refrain from talking. The show is yours. You have the con.
No, you won't. This is what we do. It's okay, Danny.
Yeah, you have the con. You lead the show from here.
Rude Days comes to us and lets us know that we all got Suicide Kill the Justice League wrong. Because at the time of calling, it's now 59 on Metacritic, which he's also like wrong there, as it's actually in aggregate. It's 61 if you take all of the scores. The 59 is just PS5. It doesn't include the Xbox.
Why didn't we aggregate them all?
That's what I did, and that's why I said it's a 61 and not a 59. So technically, we'd all be right. It doesn't matter either way because either we all get the point or we all don't get the point.
Yeah, there's
so
no point
it really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
doesn't
same
matter.
difference.
But he also would like to say, never question Vegas and Rude Days again. Suck it, Delvin. And the score remains Devin and Donnie 3, Delvin 2.
Okay. Dev, before we answer his next ones, let me point this out. You and I have the opportunity to at least get 3 points ahead of Delvin if we just pick the same things.
Yeah.
So I think we can collude here. We can do some collusion.
I'm with
we just pick the same thing for all three of these. He's not here. We either get points or don't, but either way,
we're ahead. I'm here for it.
Distance. I like it.
I'm here for it.
So what are we doing?
So over or under for 89.5 for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Remake got an 87, while the DLC integrate got an 89. I'm hearing this is game of the goddamn decade potential.
I'll take you.
I would go over. I'm going over.
And we're going over.
Yeah. Over or under 59.9 for Skull and Bones.
That seems really low. There's not a whole lot of games that go under 59.
So here's the problem. Justice League, like, it's got a 59 on PS5.
I got a feeling that Skull and Bones is like going to be. It's not a game for everybody, like off the face value. But I have a feeling that for the people that it is for, it'll be admirable.
But will it? Okay. But are the critics gonna rate it that? That's where we have to think. We can't think about what the people.
Well, maybe we can pick the same one. I want to take the over on this one.
I do too. I
at least want to give it like. I'll give it like a mid 60.
Yeah, I feel like it's got to be right.
63.
I feel the same way. It's got to be 63, 65. It can't be that bad. It can't be a 59. Like that's so low.
I'm thinking of like, is it coming like a 54? That's like hard to believe.
Yeah.
And I just say that it's like when we track these things, there just aren't a lot of games that come in under that. Like I know we have a 10-point scale. But like a lot of the journalists really operate between like a 5.5 and a 9.5. Mm-hmm. That's really the scale. Like we have 10 points. We only really use about 4.5 of them.
Yeah. And it's got to be really, really bad.
It's got to be really bad. Like borderline broken and jank and shit. And I don't think, I think that's why they delayed it. Like they're not going to release it if it's that bad.
Yeah. So
otherwise, what the hell have they been doing for 8 years?
Yeah.
It can't be that bad. Right?
They've been too busy trying to make all these other games they're trying to get off the ground.
Hyperscape and Mecha Ball and
everything else.
What was the other one? The mobile one? They've had so many. It's hard to keep up.
Many. Yeah.
Just make For Honor again. People like that. I didn't.
What do you mean again? Apparently it's still going. For Honor is still a thing.
Siege. Do Siege 2. People love that game.
Yeah, they really do love Siege.
Do what you did. Make Far Cry 5 again. Do that. It's fucking awesome. Do it again. They're like, no, we're gonna make it a Destiny game. Like, God damn it!
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Somebody smack Eve. Stop doing this. Nobody wants the da 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 da.
No. So we're taking the over on Skull and Bones. Now this one, Banishers: Ghosts of New Eden, new game by the Strange Life is Strange studio. Don't Nod.
Right.
Over or under 83.5.
This one's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Brand new game.
They swing or miss.
Don't really know what it is. 83 is a pretty decent aggregate.
It is. It's kind of high.
Like if you have a game that comes out that gets a couple 8s and 9s but gets a lot of 7s, you're below 83.
Yeah, you're going down.
And I kind of feel like this is a 7 game.
I feel the same way. I feel like it's like 75. So I'm gonna go. I think the under is a safe bet.
I'll take the under as well. All right,
Yeah,
we got 3 picks locked in to put some distance between us and Delvin.
Yeah,
and if we get enough distance, here's what I say: you and I just keep picking the same thing.
Yeah,
make him catch us, and then at the very end, when we have a insurmountable lead, then you and I will pick against each other. Yeah, we'll just we'll roll the dice on one question.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Let's see how much we can bury him. I want at the end here. It's like Donnie and Delvin 38, Delvin 9.
yeah. I'm here for that because I don't want to just win. I want to win big and put my foot on your neck.
I want him to be like, I'm not playing anymore.
Yes. Let's go. Delvin can suck it.
That's what you get from this show. You don't show up to work,
get buried.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Time for questions. Tara wants to know, is there a game you'd want to see made as a VR game? And if so, why?
Oh, I think a lot of games could be made for VR.
I believe you. I don't like VR. I don't want anything in VR personally.
I know movement is weird, but like, could you do something with like Mirror's Edge in VR? I feel like that's like something that could be done.
I feel like that would make me very sick to my stomach.
I think any game that has like a visor or like a mech or anything where you're seeing like if you could don the helmet and just be that, I think that would be cool too. Titanfall or like Metroid or like anything where you're doing anything like that, that works. It's easy.
Yeah, it could be cool. Yeah.
Star Wars, like the space fighter squad mission, whatever, like stuff like that. Yeah. That's easy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would think, I thought when I bought my Quest, I thought golf in VR would be easy as hell. Like that's a no-brainer. Dude, golf in VR sucks. It's not there yet. The fluidity is just not there yet. It's bad.
Yeah. There's no 3-click system. How does that work?
Yeah, like it doesn't always work. It doesn't always track. It's like the Wii. When you try to hit a button that goes out, you're like, it's actually less accurate than the Wii. That's a problem.
Awful.
You know, like I got this headset on, it's not tracking right, it's not working right. Like I can't see, it's not as good as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
it's upsetting.
Boo.
I can see basketball being pretty cool in VR. If they ever want to do it. The motions are pretty simple. Pass, shoot. You know, like that's kind of neat.
No, absolutely not.
Well, here's okay.
I'm gonna play basketball. I'm not just gonna if it's a 3-point shootout, like, sure.
So like there's a football game in VR that I play, and it's actually really good. Like it's hard to see down the field. Like you're playing like you can't see everything. You gotta kind of read the coverage. You gotta worry about protection.
I'm not playing quarterback. Yeah, I believe it. I want to be the receiver, the running back.
I think it is quarterback based. You gotta play quarterback.
Yeah, see, I don't want to do that.
How are you just gonna go out there and run routes? Like and then we throw you the ball. You're like, this is fun.
That's my point. Yes, I'm a receiver. I'm not the quarterback. I'm on the receiving end of getting the ball, and then I make things happen.
I think 2K could make a VR game be pretty freaking awesome, actually.
VR mode. Yeah, but I want to cross people up. How am I going to do that?
Yeah, you do the dribble. They have motion tracking hands. You just do like the motion and you dribble.
I need a whole room. I need a whole room. I'm going to need so much space to
they got you.
Out,
that's covered now.
Cross back, round the back, hit him with the hezzy. Like I don't believe you can do all that.
You could be Kyrie. Kyrie would definitely be the cover athlete.
Kyrie.
It's Kyrie totally 2K. 2 Kyrie is what it is. That's the VR mode. 2 Kyrie in VR. Be Kyrie Irving.
If they can actually make that happen, then I'd be down because
he's like Mamba mentality.
I can live out my NBA
like
dreams.
Coach.
How do I dunk though? That's the other question because I can't actually like. How does that work?
You would have to you'd have to get a path, right? So like on your joystick, you go, and then like as you raise, you leap, and then you like dunk.
Yeah,
I think it's possible. I think in VR you could do that.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Moving on. Eddie V says, do you think Nintendo will have 6 or more new games with known IP this year? Do you think they can dominate Metacritic in the 90 score range again? I have no idea.
I really do enjoy Eddie writing into the show. He sends us strat questions a lot. His questions are always like really detailed. You know, Like, this is such a weird, bizarre. Like, they have 6 new games with IP? Like 6.
I can't think of 2.
If we count the games that we know are in development, yes. I don't know if he means by new.
There's no.
I don't know if he means by new as in like unannounced games. But like if we're counting Princess Peach, right, and we're counting Mario vs. Donkey Kong, and we're counting Luigi's Mansion, if we're counting those things, then yeah, they'll have 6, at least 6. Will they be dominating 9? No, they're not going to dominate 90s. It's going to be a very average to good, middling Nintendo year as they ready for a new console. Now, if that new console drops this fall, it'll probably drop with a new Mario game, and that new Mario game will probably be awesome, and that'll be another one. And then you only need 2 more. So
there you go, Eddie.
Prep 4.
You heard it from Playing Nintendo himself.
No, don't do that.
I see you also changed your name from Eat the Hype just to Donnie. I don't like.
I did that a long time ago.
I know. I don't like it.
Why not? It's just my name.
I know, but you're Donnie Eat the Hype Reese. Like, that's who you are. I don't appreciate this.
Yeah, I just got. I don't know. I didn't feel like that. I haven't felt very hypey, right? So yeah. I just didn't feel like how fitting that was. I also didn't like that. Like, I don't know. I woke up one day and I was like, I don't like that. Like all of my online personas have like this fake name and stuff. Like I just kind of wanted to.
Just want to be Donnie.
Like, I changed my gamer tag. Yeah, I was just like, I don't want to do this.
Just Donnie. Just
it kind of felt like, honestly, if I'm being real, I left Twitter and I was like, that kind of left that too.
Okay.
I think that's what it was.
I got you. Well, I'm still Dad Ninja Dev, and I'm gonna always be Dad Ninja Dev because that's who the hell I am. It'll always be that.
I changed my gamer tags to PSVG Donnie.
Wow.
Because Donnie was taken or wasn't available.
Wow. So. I remember you as Born a Buckeye, like
a long time ago. That's a whole life ago.
Oh, changes. TPR says, "Fuck, Marry, Kill." 80s action movie edition. The Terminator, Predator, and Aliens. What are you going?
I don't think you're gonna like me for this one.
I mean, I'm gonna just kill off the aliens because what the fuck am I gonna do with an alien? Either way, they're made of acid, so they gotta go. They gotta.
You're taking it so literally. I'm just talking about like the ones that I like. I'm gonna fuck Terminator. I'm gonna marry aliens and kill Predator.
So you don't like the Predator at all, huh?
It's okay. I'm not overly infatuated.
Really
or as a movie, I'm not like all that into the movie either. Like the movie is, Have
you seen Prey?
Decent, I haven't. No, I haven't. I never watched it.
Really good. That shit was great.
But yeah, I was never like, my dad really liked Predator, and I watched it. I've watched it a handful of times, and it's a fine action movie. But like, I love Aliens and Terminator. I think it's pretty good. I like the lore the Terminator creates. Yeah, right. Terminator 2 is better.
Got a lot. Yeah,
but Terminator is still really good too. So I just think they're better. Like if I was ranking them, it'd be Alien, Terminator, Predator, and that's basically how I answer the question.
Yeah, I'm not basing them off rank. I'm just like fucking Alien.
You're taking it really literally.
Yeah, I had to go literal. Like I can't deal with you aliens. Like you're useless.
I mean, like I said, a fucking Terminator. That's Sarah Connor. Like.
Well, no, she's not the Terminator. The Terminator's Arnold.
This is the movie. I didn't say you gotta fuck the Terminator. I mean, it's Arnold though. That's better than.
I'm going with Terminator.
Arnold's better than Predator and the Alien. If we're being literal,
this is true. But there might be some female predators I don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Could be.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, Ridley's no second. Like Ridley's right there too. Like Sarah Connor.
Again, she's made of acid. I'm not fucking with acid. Like that's no good. And then you're gonna plant something in my chest. It's gonna burst out later. Like we're screwed here. We're screwed here. This is like praying mantis levels of shit. No, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Aliens is great.
Yeah, I'd probably fuck the Predator and marry Terminator. That's how it's gonna go.
Nice.
Yeah. Fuck you, Kyle the Pug says, "What's your hype level looking for the upcoming Indiana Jones game?"
Upcoming PlayStation darling Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, hype level, or we're putting this on a scale? Do we have like a?
We can have a scale. It's still a 0 for me. Either way you put it, I could care less about this game.
My hype is I would probably put it like mid. That's like my hype. I'm like, I thought it looked like a good game. I'm gonna play it because of Game Pass. I'm not like counting the days to play it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'll play it right away. It depends on what else comes out. If there's another game to play, if there's like a new Switch game, playing that first.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like if there's Call of Duty, playing that first. I don't know right when it's coming out, but like where we think it might come out. If there are other games, I'm gonna play those first. But I will play it because I thought it looked good. But I'm not like I'm not overly hyped to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I never really enjoyed the Wolfenstein games that much. Like they just
I like those a lot. That's my only interest is that I really liked Wolfenstein.
Exactly. I don't really care for those that much, and Indiana Jones in first person just I'm good.
Dude, I'm so sorry. Can you hear my heater? I just realized that I've had my heater on.
Nope, I don't hear that.
You may want to run that background noise removal on my track.
Okay, sounds good. So yeah, we're not very hyped on Indiana Jones there, Kyle. Sorry.
Yeah, not us. These aren't the
Delvin. Sure.
These aren't the podcasters you're looking for. Mm-mm. You need to get on Seth's radar.
Yeah. Talk to that guy. Yeah.
Dude's over the moon.
Smokeless Joseph says, how the hell does Doc Rivers keep getting work? I'll let you answer this one, Donnie.
All right, y'all were pretty hard on Doc. I know you don't like him, but like you're really overly. Y'all are like, this man sucks. He's been there 4 years, like 4 games. He just walked in mid-season.
Yeah,
like chill out. Give him a minute.
I just look at his body of work, like previously, like he couldn't get it done in Philly.
NBA champion Doc Rivers.
He's got one championship that he fell backwards into because he had 3 All-Stars. Okay, that was not his chip. That belonged to the players.
He then,
like. You couldn't get Blake and CP3 to work together. You couldn't get Harden and freaking.
Is that him or is that CP3? CP3's had a lot of failures under different coaches.
So based on what you said, like you get the coaches to be able to bring personnel together, and he just could never seem to get it done enough to get over the hump of losing, of being up. It's not even the losing part. It's the always being so far ahead and somehow losing that just kills me. I'm like, why? What is this? Like, why are you here?
He is. All right, I'm just going to put this in. He is an NBA champion 2008 as a coach. NBA Coach of the Year in 2000. A 4-time NBA All-Star Game coach. Top 15 coaches in NBA history. Let's see here. What is this from? As rated by who? Coaching record?
Probably coaching record because you get it. If you've got a good team that can carry you to the best record, then sure, you get to coach the All-Star game. But then you fall apart in the playoffs.
He has a career win percentage of 585.
Okay. How much of that is him versus the personnel?
You could say that about any coach. You can literally say that about every coach.
You could, but again, it's about getting them over that hump.
So
I feel like he just
who's the best coach in the league?
That's a really good question. You could say Ty Lue.
I wouldn't. I don't think anybody would.
I know you wouldn't. You could say Steve Kerr. You know, you could say Popovich still. You know,
I would say Spo or Pop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spo's win percentage
have shit records right now.
Spo's win percentage is 2% higher than Doc's.
Yeah.
And people think he's a great coach.
I believe Spo is a great coach.
And he had super teams.
Yeah, his teams don't fall apart in the playoffs.
It's interesting.
Like, honestly, like when I look at Doc Rivers, like the one team that actually got it done was that Boston team. And then they lost the next year. He got the one. And I think that like
Kobe lost a lot too. It's tough to win.
Kobe did lose a lot. Yeah. But to me, Doc he didn't do anything to like get him over. Like that's where it always falls apart for me with Doc. It's just like what are you doing to get him over these humps? And it seems to just happen over and over and over again. You get right there, you're ahead, and somehow you fall all the way back down. Like what?
I'm not sitting here telling you that I think Doc Rivers is the greatest coach in the world. I don't even think I would put him top 10 or 15 like this list did, but I don't think he's a bad coach. I think in the NBA, like right now, I think he's in the upper echelon. Like right now, he's probably a top 10 coach in the league right now. I think that's probably true. And a lot of his thing isn't coaching, as I often say all the time. In the NBA, it's not about coaching. It's not about X's and O's. There are no X's and O's. Everybody just runs pick and rolls, throw the ball around, shoot threes. There's no X's and O's. There's no Princeton. Nobody's running that shit. There's no box out 4-1. Like there's nothing. Nobody's doing any of that, right? In the NBA, it's about managing your players' relationships and their egos, and organizing your club. And I think Doc excels at that. I think that's why he's had so many chances, and why he's been brought into so many high profile teams. Because I think that's his. See, and there's a difference. I am a big Ty Lue fan. Ty Lue is an excellent X's and O's guy. If you give Ty Lue the ability to game plan for you, he's going to throw something at you. As is it's the Knicks guy from the Bulls. What's his name?
Oh God, are you talking about? I can see his
Tibbs.
face, but can't think of his name. Tibbs, yeah.
Tibbs is an excellent X's and O's guy. Not the best player guy though. Runs his players into the ground. Usually ends in a lot of friction. So like everybody kind of has their strengths and weaknesses. Ty's also good with the players.
I was gonna say, I think Ty has both sides. When you hear about people talk about Ty Lue,
and that's what you hear with former players like Doc and Ty is.
So what I hear about from former players with Doc, they don't really. They're like, yeah, he wasn't that. He wasn't it. Like I hear that a lot from like listening to podcasts that have a lot of his former players on there. They're like,
I think his big thing is just managing egos. I think that's really what he does.
He does that well enough in the regular season, but then when you really need to do it in the playoffs. In Game 7.
My take again, my take isn't always right, but my take is that I just don't think, and I've said this to you before, I just don't think coaches matter a whole lot in the NBA. I don't think you win or lose a series because of a coach. It's a players' league. It's a make or miss league, and it's all about the players. If the players collapse, then the players collapse. It's not the coach. Coach didn't do that. The coach can only do so much. You can call a play, but you can't run it right. You can't be there right. You can't shoot it right. You can't make the ball go in. You could take the coach off of most teams, and the outcome for most of those teams would be the same. I think there are a few exceptions in a few moments, not in a series, definitely not in a series, but moments. I've seen Ty Lue make a difference in a moment, in like a late game, last minute, out of bounds play that he drew up that got an easy bucket. A Tibbs, a certain defensive strategy that helped them steal a game on the road. There's a moment where a coach, I think, makes a tangible difference, not a series. I don't think I've seen it.
Sometimes those moments, though,
where I was like, they won that series because of the coach. Like that doesn't.
Sometimes those moments are the momentum shift that ends up winning the series, though.
Maybe, but it is the players. You're not there with it. It's the players.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Who's the Lakers coach?
Who cares?
But who is it?
God, he's got to go. He's a former
player. They could fire him tomorrow.
His face.
They could fire him tomorrow, and the outcome for the Lakers wouldn't be any different.
The outcome would be the same. Weird, man. I don't know what the hell is up because they're winning games, and they're winning games in ways they shouldn't. And it's just like, what is going on? It's Darvin Ham. That's who the Lakers coach is.
They could fire him, and the Lakers' outcome would be the same.
Yeah, can we get rid of Bron and AD? I'm ready to start over. This is just.
I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how under the radar, but like low key, AD was having a great year, and nobody's giving credit for it.
No, we've always talked about how he puts up all these numbers. He puts up great numbers, but it just never applies. It never turns into wins. Like that's the thing about AD. He stuffs the stat sheet, but it's in losses. It's like, great. You're putting up all these numbers, but it's not translating to wins. And that's what
they're having a rough go of it.
Yeah.
My Cavs, on the other hand, are on fire.
Yeah, but they're the Cavs.
They've won like 19 of 20. But I'm not even telling you they're great. They've been beaten up on a lot of bad teams. Like they beat the Spurs, they beat the Wizards, they beat the Rockets. Now they've got good wins too. I think they got one from Milwaukee. They beat the Kings the other night, which was a really good win for them because the last few seasons, like this era of the Cavs, like this Garland, Allen, this group, they've really struggled against the Kings and the Hawks. And like it doesn't matter where they are, like those two teams have had the Cavs numbers. So like that Kings one, all of us Cavs fans, I think, had that circle. Like, okay, we'll see what they do against the Kings, and they blew them out. So they've been on a run. It's been kind of exciting. telling you, they get that white kid. He's just throwing up threes everywhere. He's out here like, I'm Seth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's literally just like Curry. Like he's just, and they've got Mobley and Garland back too.
Yeah.
And Mobley the other night shocked the world. He had 4 threes. People were like, what the?
Look at that.
Yeah.
Did you tell Jack?
He does that. Watch out. Because that's what they need.
I'm surprised by y'all and the Knicks being good.
The Knicks are like, we're on a collision course.
Like, what is
for each other
going
again.
on here? Yeah.
It's like a little rivalry building up. We're about to face it. Like we're heading right towards each other again. The best of the rest in the East. It's like the Celtics and then the rest of us.
Basically. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the playoffs look like at the end for the East.
You remember it was like 6 weeks ago, they were like, they got to trade Mitchell. They got to think about trading Allen. The Cavs have got to rebuild because we had a couple injuries. Like, I thought the whole season was over, and then they took off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were like, nope, we're not doing that. Let's go win a bunch.
All you need is that one little run to like completely turn around your season. I mean,
and Donovan has been unreal. He's been next level. He's been killing it.
We'll see what y'all can do. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Those top 4, in the Eastern Conference, y'all, Boston, Milwaukee, the Knicks, like.
I still don't think they're ready for prime
nice
time.
playoffs.
That hasn't changed. I still think we're really young and inexperienced.
Yeah.
And ultimately, I don't think we're really balanced. I think that'll hurt us in the playoffs. So if we could get one series, if we could win a series, I think it'd be like a good year. But in Cleveland, as I talk to you every year, they we're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm like, we're not.
Y'all are just like the Cowboys. It's like every year is our year.
It's an eternal thing with Cleveland. Like the Browns have sucked forever. There've been no reason to believe they were going to be any good. They won a couple games. Everybody got injured, and the fans were like, Super Bowl. I'm like, what the fuck's the matter with you? Like, it's like they can't be honest with themselves. They were. Like Joe Flacco won a game. They're like, why not us? Why can't we go to Super Bowl? Like, I don't know, because you're playing your 9th left tackle. Like maybe that's why. Because we're not really good. Like that's why. They're like, we won. I'm like, that's not how this works. We will lose.
This works at all.
Yeah. Like I'm glad we won, and I'm happy. We have not won a lot in life, but we will lose. But we're not winning anything with this team. We don't even know who these people are.
I mean, it's Joe Flacco, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, it's like, dude, he came to Cleveland. He flew into Cleveland on coach. There were Browns fans on the plane. They were like, Joe Flacco's on the plane with me. They're like, why is he coming to Cleveland? Like before he had a workout, like we all found out because he was on the plane, just like in a t-shirt and a bag. It's like, we're not going to the Super Bowl, guys. We're not going to the Super Bowl. We didn't call Shane Falco off the damn out of his TV dinner chair. Like we're not chill.
Shane Falco.
We're not going to the Super Bowl. Be happy we just won any game. Be happy.
Yeah. Build on it for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
All right. Sleepy Gamer says, what are some games that you feel should only be played once or that first experience won't be the same? Do you have any game that you regret replaying, tarnishing the memory of the first? And what is a game that you could experience again and again and again? I'm going to go first because I don't play a lot. I don't replay a lot of games. The only games that I've really replayed are like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Super Metroid,
classics.
The Tomb Raider game, like the Tomb Raiders that came, like the remake of Tomb Raider on PS3 or whatnot. The reboots, yeah. I replayed that, but that's really it. Like I don't replay a lot of games. So for me, I really enjoy like that first experience. Like as much as I love Cyberpunk and as much as I'm jonesing to be in that world again, like my playthrough was my playthrough. That was my story. I don't really want to play it again because for me, then it changes what Cyberpunk was. Like I have such an emotional tie to what my gameplay was that I don't ever want to really go back to that. I just existed in that world and that playthrough was what it was. And I absolutely adored it.
I think that's how RPGs are supposed to be. You adopted the role.
Yeah. But I just don't really replay games a lot. It's once I'm done with it, I'm done with it. Like I don't rewatch a lot of movies. Like I've experienced it once. I don't really have a whole lot of desire to go back. So I don't really have an answer for this.
You're about that new.
Yeah, basically.
I got you.
Put it
Well,
in quick.
not that I would try to persuade you, but I will tell you as somebody who has played Cyberpunk through completion twice. I really enjoyed playing it this my second campaign only because I played it differently, and Cyberpunk allows you to go so differently. Like you can replay that game and it can totally feel like a new experience. My second playthrough felt completely different than my first one. I mean, it's a shit answer, but like when I think of things that I regret replaying, it's not that I regret replaying, it's that there are certain experiences that will never be the same. And for me, a lot of that is Zelda. There's just something magical about that series, experiencing it, the story, the reveals for the first time, that no matter how much I like it, it's never quite the same. The second time through Ocarina was nothing like the first time. I was enamored and infatuated and lost in that world the first time I played it. The second time, you know where everything is.
Yeah.
Wind Waker. The reveal from Wind Waker was a magical moment. Like I was just like, oh, I was literally in awe. I was like, this is incredible. And it was never quite the same. And I've played that game. I've replayed Wind Waker a dozen times. And I love it every time. I do. But it's not the same as the first time. I feel very similarly about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I've replayed Breath of the Wild through completion 3 times.
Wow.
And I do think I talked about it on Shaq a lot. Tears of the Kingdom didn't give me that magical feeling. I liked it a lot. Had a total fun. It didn't feel special. I think because it was so like known, so like I'm trying to think of the word familiar. I think maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Because I did discover things. There was like the depths and things like that to discover, but like I knew the world I was in.
You kind of already knew it.
Go. Yeah. I knew the direction of everything. That first time with Breath of the Wild was what's over that cliff, that horizon, what's out there, right? When
the
they gave
discovery
me
aspect,
when they gave me all of that, it didn't hit quite the same.
Right.
On my second and third time, it became more of a collection of tasks and less of a world that I'm exploring.
Yeah.
And to a similar extent, Far Cry 5 feels the same too. I love Far Cry 5. I've played it through completion twice. I've played it multiple times, almost. And it's not quite the same the first time because I do know generally where we're going and what the story and what direction we're going in. So, yeah, those are the ones that like come to mind. Not that I don't replay them. I've replayed them all, but they don't hit quite as hard.
Yeah.
Games I can play all over. Here's the weird thing. A lot of those games I just said, I've replayed a bunch. So like they still work for me because I really like them. I know this goes against it. Like he's not talking about like general replayability, right? Because I've played like NCAA football forever. Yeah, like that doesn't count, right?
No, he's talking about the experience because he mentions experience multiple times in the question. It's really about like the experience of going through the game.
Well, I mean, I've replayed The Last of Us so many times it's hard to count. And I've gone through that thing a bunch, and I've enjoyed running multiple runs through that too because the first time I played it, it was all about discovery and the emotion and the story. The second time I played it was all about completion of finding every artifact and doing all of that. The third and fourth time I played it, I upped the difficulty, and then eventually I got to the point where I was playing that game and I was just kind of like fucking with it. I was like more of like a game tester. Like I'd fuck with the infected and the clickers, and I'd be like, what happens if I do this? And I remember at one point I was just like dancing around them, like seeing if I could get them to engage me, and like all of the fear and the hesitation that you have the first time you're playing, it all goes away the more you play it. And then like some runs I've gone through and I'm like, I'm gonna blow up everything. Fuck trying to collect these resources. And it wasn't until that run when I realized, because I'd grown up playing the survival horror games, I had been like hoarding all of my materials. The game does a really good job of replenishing your things if you use them. If you don't use them, if you're stocked up, you feel like there's nothing around. If you start launching on it, you'd be amazed at how much stuff comes back.
Right.
And I didn't learn that until like my 4th or 5th playthrough. I was like, oh shit, there's stuff everywhere. because I was just like, I'm gonna because I remember on my third or fourth time I was like, I have played this game 2 or 3 times, like just hoarding this Molotov cocktail and this bomb, like in the smoke bomb. Yeah, just never use them. And I remember I walked into the hotel in that playthrough and I was like, fuck it. Let's pull the shotgun. I'm not sneaking. I'm walking down the fucking hallway. Like, you're about to get some. And ammo was plenty. Like, you can totally play that game that way. And you don't run out of anything. Like, I never ran out of stuff. I just kept finding more stuff. I was like, oh, this totally works. And then it becomes like a weird Max Payne action game. You're just like blowing out of everything. You know? So yeah, those are pretty fun.
Nice. The Bromigos pod says, do you think sports games, NFL, NBA, WWE, etc., are too repetitive? And how would you fix that issue? I don't know that you can, because sports in itself is just repetitive.
It's like, I think they're supposed to be. Like, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know that.
Here's the other thing.
The problem.
I kind of argue. I don't think they are. I would make that argument. At least not compared to what they used to be. They used to be, you had like season mode and exhibition mode. Now you've got franchise, you've got GM, you've got Ultimate Team. Like, if you wanted to like get lost in 2K for a year, you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easily. You can change how you play online leagues. You know, like with your friend, like there are people that live like whole careers. I
have several friends who do that.
They're like, I'm on a 20-year coaching career. Like, you know, like it's its own thing. So I think sports games have done a lot to keep your attention and give you a lot to play from. Like in 2K, one of my favorite things to do that we've talked about in the past is I run different
fantasy
draft, like a different era of basketball, fantasy draft, a 90s team. And you get real weird with it.
Yeah.
It's like I paired up, you know, like Shaq and Michael Jordan, and she's like, what? Had a Yao and Chris Webber, and you can get, you know, it's fun. I like that. So I don't think they're really all repetitive. The actual gameplay mechanic is repetitive, but of course it is. You can't do anything with that. What are you gonna do?
Then you can change.
Yeah, you can't go to space or anything. That's not it's not the thing anymore. Like, you can't do a whole lot. Yeah. They tried doing that story mode. I thought that was no bueno. Like, I was like, when they first announced it, I was like, this is great. And then I played it and I was like, no, it's not. Nobody wants this. Stop doing this.
I never played the story mode stuff. I mean, I did like when they had
good, but their execution wasn't.
I like the one mode that they had when NBA Live was still a thing. I enjoyed that very much. Just taking my player and kind of getting him to the league and the street ball and all that stuff. That was fun. But again, like the moment-to-moment gameplay in sports, it is what it is, and it's not really going to change. So
I'm stoked for NCAA football. Yeah, I told Jack I'm playing the Retro Bowl, the college Retro Bowl, and we were talking the other day, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't like that because you can't start with your favorite team because they just assign you a team and you start." And I was like, "Oh, you don't know how this is done, do you? Like, you've never." He just starts always with his favorite team. I was like, that's not college football at all. You have to start at the bottom. The whole point is the rise. Like, the whole point is the grind. You need to be at like William and Mary or Mercer or like Appalachian State and build the program up, get a new job and a new job and a new job and keep rising to the national title. Jack's just trying to beat the Buckeyes out of the gate, dominate.
Yeah, see, you're playing college football coach simulator. He's just playing college football video
like game. I'm running the program and everything. Like, it's more than just the game. I'm excited. I hope NCAA football gives us that. And that is a thing. Like, I'm on the NCAA football Reddit, and like everybody does that. You got to start at the bottom. That's the fun part. On our last question, I saw Tara, she put in the chat, I feel that way about AC Valhalla. I don't know which way she was referring to, but I'll tell you this. That's a game I couldn't imagine replaying. I played that game and did so much in that game and loved that game. I don't think I could do it again. I just don't. And I feel that way about Tears of the Kingdom. I have no interest to play Tears of the Kingdom again. I don't know why I settle on games like that.
Yeah.
Because I've replayed Breath of the Wild a bunch, and I would play it again. If Switch 2 is like you can play Breath of the Wild and it's better now, I would replay it. But if they're like, you could replay Tears of the Kingdom is better now, I'm good.
Yeah. I think because Breath of the Wild was the first one, and
Yeah.
that was the one that you kind of imprinted on that has all the discovery and stuff. Where you were like,
And maybe I
this was
would
it.
with Valhalla, like down the road.
Yeah, I think Valhalla is still too fresh,
I think
and it's
so.
just so damn
So
big.
daunting.
Yeah, to the idea of starting that over from scratch is just like, oof, it's a lot of game.
And that's
Lot
where
of game.
that one is a lot like how you feel about Cyberpunk. I feel very similar
Mhm.
with Valhalla. It's like, no, I did it. I was my Eivor. I did it my way, and that's like I'm good. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Stingray X wants to know, who is your favorite video game companion?
Ellie.
Why
are you laughing?
Absolutely not, because that's definitely not mine. She can kick rocks.
I can't save you from your bad takes.
That's fine. I mean, save the cheerleader, save the world. If that feels like, no, thank you. She can kick rocks. Let her die. Sacrifice her to the gods to get that cure.
Wow.
I don't like companions in games, to be perfectly honest. Like I don't
think many people do.
I don't get away. Go.
Yeah, most people don't.
I'm Maverick. I don't need a goose. Like I'm just gonna do this thing my way by myself. Because most of the time you're just getting in the way.
I liked Sam in Uncharted, the brother.
I got on my nerves.
Chloe.
I do like those two. So though I can deal with Chloe and whatever her face, I don't remember her name, but I like those two as companions.
I wanted more banter. I wanted more lore.
Yeah.
I don't think they went like I was really excited. I thought we would get like a lot of like hidden backstory about Nate and stuff, like kind of, like the gossiping, like talk and whatnot. And we got none of that. And I was a little let down. I was like, the dialogue here is not as rewarding as I was hoping to be for like a spinoff with side characters.
Yeah.
They should have done more talking about the main story and the main characters. And they really did. It really was like its own side action, like its own separate thing.
Yeah. I like them. I like the shit, the trash talking like that. That's
what
I want.
Yeah, no, I did like the rapport. I did like the rapport. I just wanted it to be. I wanted that game to be like a little bit more like canonical.
I do like Claptrap. He's hilarious.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can get down with Claptrap. But Mimir is also nice.
Yeah. No, that's a great one. That's a good call.
Mimir is great.
Too bad it was offset with Atreus.
He didn't bother me as much because I'm like, you're just like my son. I get it. You're a teenager. You think you're a god now, and you're gonna act like a little asshat. I get it. He didn't really bother me. He didn't rub me the wrong way at all. I'm like, oh.
I guess the Gears crew counts, all of them. Like you do, even when you're solo, you do kind of squat around a bunch. Those are great. Dom and all that shit.
You know what? I might know once it comes to PlayStation.
Coltrane, you're gonna love Coltrane, man. It's the best.
I'm not playing. I don't like the way they play. I don't like the way Gears controls at all.
You hurt my feelings. How dare you?
We've had this discussion because I tried to play the Gears remaster. And it's just like I can't get into the controls. It just
I can see that. It's a very heavy. Even when you run, like you can't steer. It's not very like you. I've seen you play Destiny. You're very fluid and agile, and the Gears couldn't be anything further from that. It's a very rigid, heavy, plotting type of game.
I tried. I really did, and I was just like, I can't get over this control.
You had fun playing Hive Busters.
Yeah, that was fun. And that was more fun because of the trash talk and the banter between us.
Yeah, because of the companions and stuff.
Watching Delvin die again.
And I've said it for years. I always get like a little side eye because I don't think Sean agrees with me at all. But I've always thought of Gears as kind of like Xbox's Uncharted. Obviously, they're different games, right? Third-person adventure shooter, but that's not it. It's kind of like that ongoing story, that action scene, cutscene type of formula. Yeah, that's the only game that Xbox really has like that.
I can see that. That makes perfect sense. There's lots of lore. It's a big story. Yeah, it's very similar. Lots of characters. Yeah, it's character driven, like Uncharted.
Yeah, like when I play it, it's a similar way of engaging with it. Like, mechanically different, but similar style.
Makes
and obviously the production levels You know, like the emotions. Like I'm very emotionally tied to a lot of the Gears characters and stuff like that. They kind of hit those same highs, not as much as Uncharted on the emotional side, but similar.
I want to love Gears so bad because the story, like, it just seems like it's so damn good.
It is really
and it's
good.
so hard for me to play the damn game.
And the combat, well, in its favor, it may not hit the emotional highs of Uncharted. Its combat's 1,000 times better. You know, there's so many times in Uncharted you're just like shooting those Uncharted shooting mechanics at like 400 of the same looking person. You know, there are times where Uncharted you're just like, dude, come on again. Like we can't do anything better than this. You know, I never have that feeling with Gears. Gears is great in that regard.
I definitely do not enjoy the game, like the combat in Uncharted. I'm playing that one literally to get to the next cutscene.
I love
Gears,
the locales.
like the shooting I enjoy.
I love the locales that you go on in Gears. Like in the first couple of games, you go underground and you've got all the plasma and it's all dark and grimy and gritty and gray and, you know, kind of like fun. And then you get to like Gears 3, Gears 4 has all these beautiful outside sections like moonlight, crazy like vehicle combat scenes, and Gears 5 is on another level now. We're going to go jungles and I mean, like it's quite a trip. It's quite a series.
I own it. I'll have to try. I'll have to try Gears 5.
Gears 5 has open areas. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Where you can like zip around on like a little sled dog and stuff, and like just kind of like Lost Legacy. Very similar.
I'll have to try it again. It's just hard for me to jump into game 5. Like I want to start with game 1 because I want to know the story. I want to get invested. Like, you know me. I want to feel these characters, and maybe it's just so hard.
Maybe you're getting Gears Collection on PS5.
We'll see. I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to you. If this multi-platform thing that we're talking about, suddenly that Gears Collection makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
because that's been rumored for a while, and I said like Gears 1, 2, and 3. Well, Gears 1 has already been remastered, even though I don't think it's a great remaster. It's been remastered. Gears 2 and 3 are X enhanced, and I've always been like, okay, we're gonna do a Phoenix collection. That's cool. Like I'm down for anything Gears. So like I'm not hating on it, but it does feel like unnecessary. It's like the games are still fine to play. We don't really need to. And then when I was talking about this with Sean, the thing that I came to, I was like, well, if they're going to turn all that multiplayer back on, like a Master Chief collection, it makes a lot of sense for PC. They'll make a lot of money on PC. Now, if I think about that now in this new landscape, like, oh shit, this makes a ton of sense. Because if they're going to bring Gears like 4 or 5 to PlayStation 5, then a Gears collection makes a shit ton of sense, and it's probably going to make a shit ton of money.
As long as it also comes to PC, like super optimized for PC, that's why I'd rather play it because my PC is better
the
than
Coalition. Yeah, I mean they're great at that. I definitely think the Coalition is one of Xbox's best studios.
Yeah. So it's on my back burner to try and get through at some point. I've got plenty of downtime because there's not a lot of games this year coming that I want to play so far.
It's not all that uncommon, you know. From that.
I didn't. I wasn't a big.
Killzone's a bit faster.
Yeah,
at least the later ones were. The early ones were very similar, but the later ones, like Killzone the PS4 Killzone was different. It was very different. I may be thinking about Resistance.
I'm thinking about Resistance. Yeah, scrap that. Yeah, I was thinking about when you said Killzone. For some reason, I went to Resistance. I didn't play Killzone 1 or 2. I have them both.
I remember playing one of them. One of them on whatever I played. One of the old ones is similar to Gears, but like when I was sitting thinking, I was like, Killzone that I played in PS4 is not like Gears at all. Because you had like the zip line and shit. Like it wasn't even close to that. And I was like, yeah, that's not it. I'm thinking of like one of the old ones. It may be Resistance I'm thinking of. I don't remember. But you know, it was more of that linear shooter, plotting type. Yeah.
One day. Maybe
starts through Cortana's out there. I can't stand Cortana.
But
I'm not a Halo guy. I'm not a Halo guy, so don't take my opinion as anything. I just always kind of found it annoying.
I never played Halo because I am not an Xbox person, so I got no ball in that.
You're about to be.
I mean,
you're about to be.
As much as I am on PC, I have a PC.
We're all
so
Xbox
I could
people
be
now, Dev. We're all Xbox people.
We're all here. Xbox.
We're all here. Family.
Xbox is your master.
Let's put our bayonets down.
It's Microsoft.
Let's shake hands.
Microsoft Game Pass here to save us all.
Microsoft Game Pass. I can't believe people ran with that. When I saw that from Face, I was like, let me look this up. And there are thousands of people. They're like, they're rebranding it. Phil's going to get fired. Like it's all over.
Absolutely.
And Jez was like, I
ridiculous.
asked GameStop, and they were like, yeah, that was just a mistake. The person that wrote this doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's a typo.
Oh my God, the energy of the internet just.
I mean, that's how on edge the Xbox, air quotes, community is.
Yeah.
Anything that comes out right now, DEFCON 5. Like they are down bad, Dev. They're on the brink, man. They're so upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they feel empowered because they're the ones that got called. They are the ones that saved Xbox Live Gold. Except they didn't. No, they didn't save that shit at all. They waited like a year and they were like, it's now a Game Pass score.
Yeah. Ridiculous. All right. Rebecca has a question for us, and I have to read this in a certain manner. With Toys for Bob closing, what does it mean for all these IPs? Skylanders, Crash, Spyro, and the follow-up question. Could you imagine a world in which Nintendo buys those IPs? Imagine Nintendo developing Crash or Spyro game. Yee! That's how she wrote it. So that's how I said it.
Yeah, Toys for Bob isn't closing. That was confirmed. They just shut down their office space. So they're going to do their work from home or remote or move them into other studios.
Yeah.
So they're not closing. That's good. That's not how IPs work. The studio doesn't own the IP. The company owns the IP. Xbox owns those IPs. So Toys for Bob closing doesn't mean anything for Skylanders or Crash or Spyro. They weren't cut loose. They weren't laid off. Crash wasn't laid off. Crash is still very much employed. Skylanders is employed. They weren't a part of the layoffs. So Nintendo could not buy them. I honestly don't think Nintendo could afford Crash or Spyro. I mean, I'm surely they could, but they would never. They would never. Yeah. They would never. Skylanders, though, just to give Rebecca here a little play. Skylanders on Nintendo makes a lot of sense. They're still doing the amiibo thing. You know, they still make amiibo.
Yeah.
They haven't had a game that features amiibo in like 4 years. They're still making them. People are still buying them. It was the whole Toys for Life craze. You buy the toy, you play in the game. Nintendo stopped making the game. People still buy the damn toys. They can't. They're like, more.
It's Nintendo stuff.
Like, more. Give me more plastic shit. Like, can you use it in the game? No. When's the last one you could? Smash from like 6 years ago.
Yeah, they don't care.
Like, you want to know
these things because people
I want a new one. Yep.
Wait, didn't the Metroid Dread stuff, didn't that work in some way, shape, or form?
I think they have an amiibo. It's like a suit or something. Yeah.
It's
I don't know what they
both
do.
Samus and the thing.
They give you a tank.
No.
I gave refilled your health or like a power tank or something, right?
I don't know. I never used them. I have them. They're unboxed. They're on my shelf, but I never actually used them in the game.
See, nobody uses it. Nobody actually uses it.
I don't want I want to find the tank. I don't want the extras.
Characters that people nobody even knew. A Tekken guy and the Final Fury and who was the guy with the
Fatal
hat?
Fury, King, and what is that dude's name?
Terry Bogard.
Terry Bogard, yeah.
I remember they announced that. I was like, what? And everybody was like, Terry Bogard. I was like, don't even stop acting like y'all are super into Terry Bogard.
Somebody is. Not me.
But they sold millions of stupid little plastic toys. So I think Skylanders would work.
Yeah. Skylanders was always like, this makes a lot of sense with Nintendo.
Jack loves Skylanders. If
Xbox
ever does Skylanders, like Jack would be super excited.
So
he doesn't. Here's the thing: Jack doesn't even know. Jack, when they remastered Spyro, Jack had no idea that. Jack knows nothing of Spyro that's not Skylanders. To Jack, Spyro is a Skylander.
Makes sense.
Is that not mind blowing? I'm like, what? He was like, yeah. He's like, Dad, they made a new like Skylanders game, and I was like, that's Spyro. That's some old ass game. He's like, what? He's like, that's a Skylander. I'm like, no, it's not. I played this shit when I was your age. Some old games, man.
Yeah. I remember when I was running the gaming department at Best Buy, and we got to go to like this gaming conference. And I saw Skylanders. I was like, this shit is gonna sell gangbusters. It's like, y'all don't understand how cool this mechanic was to have this toy that you put in the game, and it levels up with you, and you can go take it to this portal at your friend's house and have your version of this character. I was like, this shit is going to fly off shelves. And
I had a Donkey Kong Skylander.
What?
Yeah. Nintendo made a couple Skylanders.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I have
Because
Donkey Kong one on my shelf over there.
I had so many people like that worked at my Best Buy that were trying to just collect all of the Skylanders. So as soon as they
That's
would
too
come
many.
in, they'd be going through the boxes trying to find the one they didn't have. It was insane. But I loved it. I thought Skylanders was dope.
We had so many portals.
I still only have one.
We had so many portals. We had a portal for Wii U. We had a portal for 3DS. They had a wireless portal in 3DS.
Wow.
That was a crazy. It was like a puck that like communicated wirelessly. But yeah, it was the Life Skylander Superchargers. It's like the car.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And it had Donkey Kong. I was trying to remember who the other one was.
I wonder if I still have my Skylanders game because I feel like my son would love that shit.
I feel like you have every game.
I got rid of a lot of stuff. Like most of my, I got rid
Like
of a
all
lot
your
of games.
PS3 games. They're like all in the wrapper and stuff.
I do have a lot of PS3 games. That was
Bowser.
like the heyday of me getting
Bowser.
things cheap.
It was a Bowser and a Donkey Kong Skylander.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. Bring Skylanders back. Why not? Fuck it.
Bring Guitar Hero back.
Sure.
Hey,
I'd rather
speaking
have
of
Rock
Guitar
Band.
Hero, for anybody that doesn't know, Rock Band just went on sale, I think, on all the storefronts. So on PlayStation and Xbox, you can pick up digital copy of Rock Band 4, I think, for like $10.
Rock Band 4 sucked.
It doesn't suck.
It sucked.
It's incredible. It's a huge
Rock Band
library.
3 was better. Sorry. I just didn't
Nobody
like
has
Band
Rock
4.
Band 3, Dev. Nobody can play it.
I do.
But
I
there's
have
a new
it. It still
guitar
works.
coming out, and you can play it with Rock Band 4. And you can get it for $10 right now. It's a sweet deal.
Save
And
your
it
money.
includes the bundle. So you get the Rivals
bundle?
bundle too.
Oh, whack
It's got
ass
online
game.
multiplayer.
Whack ass songs.
Whack ass songs. What are you
It's
talking
whack
about?
ass shit. It's whack. It's terrible.
It's not.
That Rock Band 4 like
This
playlist
is
games
fake news.
the songs that it came with,
This
trash.
is fake news.
Trash.
I put Archer in Rock Band 4. I played as Archer. Did you
That's
know you could
cool.
do that?
No, I made myself.
It was awesome. So you should have made Archer. You liked
No.
the game more if you bought the Archer
No.
skin.
No, absolutely. I don't want to be Archer. I want to be me.
It's awesome.
So I'm Dirty D, damn it. That's my name. That's who I am as an artist. All right. All right. Me and my wife, our band is called Ticket to Indoor. All right.
Nice.
We got a whole thing.
Our band was called Monkey. It's my daughter's nickname, but we spelled it with a 3 for an E.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on the bass. My wife sings, and my
Bass.
daughter tries to play the drums.
Dev, we've been over this. You're black. You play bass.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I got one in the attic.
Get real sick and tired of your stereotypes, Carbon. You be as sick as you want. Let's give you a smooth bass line, damn it.
God, I love that episode. That episode is so good.
It's the best.
Faith plus one.
Yeah, Faith plus one. You're supposed to look
So
away like you
good.
don't care. I'd love to present you this double myrrh. What?
What?
No, double myrrh. The fuck is myrrh? When the Christian community, we don't have platinum. We go myrrh. Well, now I can't win. He's just like, God damn it. Everybody's like,
Cartman at like the height of his evil genius. Oh, so good. So good. All right, let's land this plan. Let's round this show out with Barrett 33's question, trying to give the Xbox people some love. He said, we need some positive Xbox vibes next week. What is your most memorable Xbox related gaming experience? I'll go, because there's not a whole lot for me. The Gears 3 midnight launch was a lot of fun.
yeah.
I was running gaming. I worked that launch, and it was really cool. The console, like the special edition consoles that they had, the controllers, like everything was just really cool. It was just a really fun time in gaming, and we had a lot of midnight launches, and that was a fun launch. The Gears people showed up. There was all kind of crazy Lancers and all kind of colorful shit. Mountain Dews and things. It was cool. So that's probably my best Xbox gaming experience.
That is absolutely one of my experiences too. It's like the same
Nice.
thing. In high school, a friend of mine at the time, we're no longer friends, but a friend of mine at the time, we played Gears together. We always co-op the campaigns. And we were at that midnight launch, and we got the game, and we went home and we played together, and we played all night long. And we beat the game. I remember we beat the game as like the sun was coming up. Nice. So that's definitely one of them. My 360 launch is very memorable. A lot of my experiences are memorable. I'm like oddly nostalgic. I know everybody's nostalgic for the blades, but like I remember I used to be so excited for like just UI updates back in the day. I think I told this story once. Like I called in sick because they were rolling out like a new dashboard I wanted to see. And I was like, I got to see this dashboard. Like when they went to like the avatars and they had like the themes and shit. Like I love that shit. It was like a whole. At the time, it feels like you're getting like a new console because we didn't have stuff like that then, right? Like UI and dashboards and themes. That was really new at the time. It was super novel, right? I remember being really excited for those sorts of dumb updates in Kinect. Podcasting is its own thing. Like there's a set of memories that come with it for that. Xbox Empire was always Nathan's baby. It was supposed to be his show, and we struggled for a long time, like PSXP, to like find it a home, like find it a place. And I always played Xbox, and the PS4 really, like I was one of those people that switched, and I eventually started to like come back to my roots, and that's when I was like, "Yo, Nate, we can do this together." And I started doing that and had a lot of fun with him. And then when he had to step aside, me taking over Xbox Empire was a lot of fun because I could like make it my own and put my own spin on it. Right. And we had a blast from there. Not that I didn't have a blast with Nathan, but it was like a different thing. And especially when Elaine came in, it was a really cool little run there. And even before Elaine came in, as much as we argued, I had a really fun time recording Empire with Kevin and was super pissed when he told me he didn't want to do it anymore. I've never been pissed at Kevin. I was really mad at Kevin. Yeah. Because in my head, he was always talking about like, for years, he would talk about like, he's doing PSVG. I was doing Shaq. Like nobody listened to his show. He wanted more people to listen to it like Shaq. Right. He was always kind of like, oh, yeah, nobody listened. You remember, and you know, like he would say those jokes on the air and stuff. And I remember I was like, dude, we like at that time, we were exploding. Empire was on the rise. Everybody was digging the show. I was like, you have the show. This is the show. Like this is it. This is the thing. And I think I was too much for him. I was too much for him and his deep-seated PlayStation-ness.
Yeah. You just got to give it back. Like if I was on the Xbox show, I would just talk a lot of trash.
Well, I remember at the time, you know, and it is a good memory. It vividly comes back. That was the time where everybody was like, there was like a 6-month period there again, where everybody was shitting on Xbox for cross-gen, for all these things and all these terrible things. They'd like, I can't believe they're doing it. We believe in generations. And then we had that day where PlayStation came out and like, we're doing all the same things. I was like, you motherfuckers are going to hear about it. Like, I was so mad. I was like, no. Based on all these tweets that I've collected from you guys, none of y'all are gonna buy the PlayStation 5.
I have the receipts.
I have the receipts. You done fucked up, Aaron. That was a fun time. I've enjoyed doing the Sean stuff over the years, and I enjoyed it. It was really cool. I got my Series X early. That was wild.
I remember,
that was
like, what is he? What I can play this now?
And even. It's interesting that like we were covering like those kind of what I consider like the dark days of Xbox One, back when they were waiting on some games that were just, I think, not great. Other Xbox folks may think they're great, but there were several. I was like, dude, this is not it. This sucks. like these are not great. But I say that to say this: the 180 that I pulled. From that time where I always forget the game. There was the Kaiji Inafune game that they made with Xbox with the fucking rope and you pulled on it. And Ryan and Sean liked that game. I hated that game. I thought the game was terrible. And the Crackdown fiasco and the mess that it was and all that. Like we went through it. I was like, oh, I don't know what they're doing. And they had the controller and all that. And I was just like, I just wasn't really digging what they were doing. And then like two things happened. Ori happened.
Yeah.
and Game Pass happened, and I was like, I'm back in. Right, just when I thought you couldn't, just when I thought I was out, you reeled me back in. And I've been on that Game Pass train ever since. Die hard. Like, I love it. I love it so much. Game Pass is everything that I ever would have wanted as a kid. As a kid who grew up poor, who didn't have money for games, especially new games, and was buying used games and I traded in so many games just to be able to afford the next game. Yeah. Game Pass would have been everything I could have ever asked for. So I loved it. So I've got a lot of favorite memories, favorite games, Fable and Gears, and I hope I root for them. I really do. I hope whatever this is, I hope it works out for them. I hope it works out for us customers. Yeah. And I hope that they really lean into the games when they get back to making really great software again. Because that's been my thing. That's been kind of my thing. Stop making fucking toasters. Stop making refrigerators.
Great games again.
I got one. I still like the swag, but Fable, Perfect Dark, Land the Plane.
Say, where's Perfect Dark at?
Land the Plane. Land the Plane. Right? Like, you're really great at drumming up the hype, but land the plane. If they could just land the plane 3 or 4 times, like, people's minds would change. But that's the problem. Is they keep running. It's almost they shoot themselves in the foot, and it's just same old Xbox.
Yeah.
So I almost welcome this change. I wonder if they get off this path in this direct competition. I wonder if that gives people, if that lessens their animosity and their defensiveness, their tribalism, maybe any of those words that you think fits, into being willing to accept Xbox games, right? Like, just be open-minded to this is a different thing. Because, like, they don't make The Last of Us, and they don't make Uncharted 4, and they don't make Ghost of Tsushima. But, like, Grounded is really fucking good. And people just have no idea because they don't play it and they haven't seen it. Like, it's a really good game. So is Sea of Thieves. I don't like Sea of Thieves, but it's a really good game. They make good games.
It wouldn't still be around.
They make good games. They just don't make Sony games. And I felt like for the last decade, they've been pounded over the head with that. It's everybody's been looking for, where is your version of this? Where is your version of PlayStation? Why aren't you doing what they're doing? And I think on the game front, they've been doing different things. And I would like to see them possibly get, I don't know, a willingness to give that a try. And maybe multi-platform is the way to go. Maybe some of their games can be adopted in a way that they couldn't be because and I say that for the last 4 years, every game that came out was the savior. It had to 100 meta. It has to save the console, had to sell the console, had to sell the Game Pass. It always felt like there was just a ginormous amount of expectations on whatever that game was. It was Starfield, and then it was Redfall, and there was Infinite. Like, it was always the next game was under this unbearable weight of this, to have a better term, this console war. Right. And I'm wondering if you get that out of the way, can Hellblade just be good and that's okay? Yeah. Does it not have to save the console to be considered?
Why does Xbox have to fight so damn hard? Like, it's so weird when you think about it. Like, Nintendo, we know them for Mario and Zelda and Donkey Kong. PlayStation, we know them for Uncharted, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us. Like, we know those are your known commodities. How come it's not enough for Xbox to be known for Gears and for Halo and for Hellblade and for the things that they do well? Like, how come they always have to have some savior to come and right the ship? The ship is already right. How come they can't just be lauded for what they do versus what they're held against for what they don't do? Like, it's so ridiculous. Yeah. Like, they have such an uphill battle all the time.
Always. And I'll cap it to say this. If they're going multi-platform, you folks that only play PlayStation, you're in for a treat if you get a chance to play Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon's the best car game I've played in years. And every one of them is great. And I'm not saying it's better than Gran Turismo. I haven't played Gran Turismo. I know it's different than Gran Turismo.
It's completely different, yeah.
And it's fucking fun. It's it's a great, they make excellent games. Really, really good. Their Playground is one of the best developers in the world. Not in Xbox, the world. They're one of the best. They're so good. and their games are so optimized. They run so well. Yeah, if Forza Horizon comes to PlayStation, y'all better give that a try. That's for one. If you're into cars, got to go and try. That's really great. Bruce has a question, and then we can close it. He says, seriously, though, who do you think delivers this message next week, Phil or Microsoft? We talked about in the Discord,
business thing.
I think it's going to be Phil. The reason I think it's going to be Phil is Microsoft's head of gaming. He gets paid to deliver that message. I don't care if he agrees with it or not. We had somebody else bring that up. They're like, I can't believe they're going to make Phil do this. There is speculation out there that Phil is against this change. We don't know that. We don't know that. But that's how people are, because Phil's everybody's favorite uncle. I think people are like, he would never do this to us. He totally would. He works at Microsoft. Right. He always has worked at Microsoft. But they pay him millions of dollars. Guess what? When you're the head, sometimes you got to deliver news of even if you don't like, you still got to do it.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how I would see it. Like that's
why would it be anybody else other than Phil?
Like, he's still the face.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense for it to be anybody other than Phil.
Yeah, I would be surprised,
especially if it's bad news.
It's been speculated that it's going to be Tim Stewart. People are saying it's going to be Tim Stewart. I would be surprised because he's never been the communicator, right. And Phil's the one that did the tweet, not Tim Stewart, not Satya Nadella. Phil's the one that tweeted.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it would be
he's
a little.
The head of Xbox Gaming for a reason.
It would be off if it wasn't him, even if he doesn't like it. Like outside of him resigning because he doesn't want to deliver it, I would imagine he would deliver it. Or Sarah Bond, she's like the new face. I could see her, them giving her that crack, but I think it should be Phil.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree.
I think. We'll see. I don't know, but I think it would be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's kind of what you do here. It's just like you're kind of the guy.
Yeah. And if we're gonna have bad news being delivered, I think it should.
And if you weren't, if it was, let's say it was like, not that I'm saying it would be, but let's say it was like Matt Booty or somebody else or Sarah Bond, I could actually see people then using that to give Phil some flack, like he's letting other people take the fall and whatnot. Like it's just a little weird. It's his job. Microsoft, that's his role. He's the dude.
They can't win. It's just like we don't want to just allow them to win it all. It's like we're gonna find something to hold against you. If Phil delivers it, Phil's the bad guy. If Phil doesn't deliver it, he's still the bad guy. Like, god damn.
Bruce thinks it's gonna be Satya. I mean, it could be. He is the head of the company,
right?
And they could do it together. But yeah, he's just not been the face of the gaming.
Yeah. If this is a gaming business change, if this is a gaming business conference or news, whatever. Like it should come from the head of that division. It wouldn't make any sense.
Well, if you're going to talk to your customers, like if this is meant to talk to your customers and explain to them what's happening, then I think you want to use the person that's been talking to the customers for years.
Yep.
Because how many people are going to pay attention if it's Satya? We will, because we pay attention to all that news. But somebody looking on Twitter or scrolling on Reddit or YouTube and see Satya's face, they're not going to stop to listen.
Yeah, like, who is this? I'm not paying attention.
They will for Phil, though. If it's Phil's face, they're going to stop to hear what Phil has to say. They know who that is.
Yeah.
That'd be my take on it. Again, we don't know. The fuck do I know? It's just, that'd be my guess.
Well, we'll find out next week.
I can't believe we could be seeing, I still can't believe that Dev, it's February.
Right.
Was this on anybody's bingo card this year?
Hell no.
No, this is insane. Xbox is like, we're done.
What happened here? Y'all just bought Activision, and now you guys are what just happened here?
Yeah,
which one of y'all? Yeah, it's
wild,
very wild. It's only February, and just the first week of February at that.
And there's gonna be so
Black
many
History Month. Damn it!
What does it mean for Call of Duty? What does it mean for Game Pass? So many. This is just the beginning.
I just hope that they announce it before our show because it's gonna suck if they don't. Do you know when the conference is? It's Thursday.
They'll do it on Thursday. No, I'm just knowing our luck. They'll do it on Thursday. Hopefully, they'll give us a day. Maybe we can reschedule if it's later. Yeah. Maybe we can do something like that. That'd be cool.
That'd be great. Oh damn! I think Thursday is Valentine's Day. No, Wednesday is Valentine's Day.
Ooh, we didn't even think. Maybe we need to reschedule anyway.
Yeah.
That might work out in our favor. Yeah, we have to. Don't let me forget that. Let's put a pin in that this weekend.
We're gonna have to talk about that afterwards.
Listeners, may not record next Wednesday because I think we all have plans, and I know I speak for Delvin. He ain't showing up.
Oh shit! All right. Well, I got nothing else in the tank. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, play some video games.
Play some Xbox games on PlayStation.
Everywhere.
Nobody's sleeping in the middle of the bed. The middle of the bed is only where you do the business. But when everybody's ready to sleep, it's the side of the bed that can't be beat. It's the middle of the bed where lovers meet. But when it comes time to slumber, it's the edges. Ooh, 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 the edges.